Welcome in, everybody, to Mavs on Deck as we get set for Moose Jaw Miller Express and Gas City Baby Sprays, the new alter identity of the Metasnap Mavericks that they will use for the second time this season here tonight from Athletic Park. 7:05 is your time, as always, for first pitch, and it is a beautiful, beautiful night at the ballpark. Truman Bartman, Wayne Slosher, always here for you pregame. And Wayne, a better showing last night from the Mavericks in Moose Jaw after what was a tough beginning to the road trip.
Yeah, we match up quite well against Moose Jaw. They've had our number a little bit this year. They're 4-3, I think, in the 7 games so far. We've got 3 more games with them, and it would be nice to have a victory here tonight and at least finish 500 with them. They've got a very potent offense, and so do the Mavs, but should be a good game tonight. We have good games with them here, so let's look forward to another one with this beautiful night, as you mentioned.
Yeah, this rivalry is brewed for years, and it was really ignited at its peak during the 2023 season when they matched up in the playoffs, and the Mavericks pulled off a stunning upset of the one-seeded Moose Jaw Miller Express at that time, ended up going on to the finals and losing to Okotoks. And since then, a lot of these veterans have stuck around. Soto and Gurney, of course, for the Miller Express, and then for the Mavericks, Volcano and Vanesti. So for some of these players, they know the other side of things very well, and that can play in both of these teams' favors. But yeah, lots of new players in there as well. And one guy that at least I want to note on my end is William Edwards from New South Wales, I want to say, is
Yes,
the
it
exact
is.
title of it. I was just trying to get it off the top of my head. He has been a stunning player from them this year, batting the 2-hole at most times, and has been really good in the outfield. But a surprising player, and every single year we see a couple of guys who take the league by storm that we don't expect to. And Edwards was relatively unknown coming in here, and he's done exactly that.
Well, they didn't lose a step by missing Nate Minsek. William Edwards kind of just stepped right in and plays kind of the same game, and that was a great fill-in for Nate Minsek leaving. We're down to the final push, only 15 games left for both of these teams, I believe, and this last 2 weeks is going to fly by, and lots of exciting baseball to be played.
And I will ask you, Wayne, before we send things to commercial break, and then obviously we'll give you your starting lineups. I wanted to ask how important this push is for getting in a rhythm down the stretch, because if you go into the playoffs flat-footed like we saw the Mavericks do last year, you can end up having a shock to the system in round 1, which we saw happen right after when they played the Berries. How important is this stretch for getting things turned up and hitting another level for both these teams?
I would say it's not all that important because you're still just going day by day. It's not like you're looking ahead to the playoffs at this time. You're just going out. You want to play as well as you can individually and as a team. When you get to the playoffs, then every at-bat becomes important. Every pitch becomes important. But right now, I think it's just status quo. Keep doing what you've been doing for the last 40 games.
And we're going to keep doing what we do on this broadcast each game, and that is going to be to send you to commercial break and then bring you back with tonight's starting lineups and more information before we enter first pitch. It is a sunny night, one day before the All-Star game in Okotoks, but we got business to handle here first as a bunch of All-Stars on both sides for both teams entered this game looking to propel their teams past one another. And they're two teams that know each other very well because they've played twice in the last 2 days. This will be 3 in a row for the Moose Jaw Miller Express and the Medicine Hat Mavericks, or the Gas City Ospreys, or Baby Sprays, depending on what you want to call them here from Athletic Park, as tonight, this place, the site for this one. And in the past, it has been Ross Wells that featured the last two as we get set to go here. My name is Truman Bartman, and alongside me, as always, is Wayne Slosher. And Wayne, you have those who are competing in tonight's game. Take us through.
Yes, we'll start off with the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Thomas Soto at short. William Edwards is the DH. Austin Gurney is in center field. Eduardo Saenz is at third base. Robert Estrada in right field. Tanner DeGrazia in left field. Annie Rivas is catching. Jackson Yeager at first base, and Ben Wolochek at second base. For the hometown Mavs, Jeremy Freeman Jr. in center, Aaron Volcano at first base, Tyler Benesti is a DH, Carter Roth is at third base, Adam Volcano at second base, Micah Dvorak in left field, Blake Dale is at shortstop tonight, and Jamal Chabot is catching, and Yusi Osawa is in right field. The umpires for tonight's game at home plate and the crew chief, Ron Shuchuk. At first base, Barrett Fleck, and at third base, Connor Joslin.
We'll now send you down to field level for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
And let's talk to you about who will take the mound for the Gas City Baby Sprays tonight, and that is Danny Retzlaff. Danny, coming into this season, he's had an up and down one. ERA within the sixes, just one win on the year, and the strikeouts in the 20s for the lefty out of Colorado State Pueblo. So he's used to wearing these colors when he plays for Colorado State Pueblo, but now getting to wear them in action here with the Mavericks, and he's got a beaming red glove on that right hand tonight. You'll be able to see that from space.
The batters might have to wear sunglasses when they come up to the plate. That thing is shiny. Yeah, the Mavs have played Moose Jaw 5 out of their last 8 games, and then they still have 2 more games to play against them. And Moose Jaw matches up very well against us. They've got the power, the speed, and the pitchers that they threw out there the other night, they threw Weston Walls, and he had a very good game against us. We didn't score much off of him, 2 runs, I believe.
Yeah, he's a pitcher that's been mowing down batters this year. He leads the league in strikeouts, second-year player for the Miller Express. And originally he was brought in as a closer for them last year. But he has transformed his game, become a starter. And he's a guy who pitches a lot. I mean, we have seen him pitch a game and then come in the next day and then be in relief. Earlier this year, he came in relief here when we thought there was no chance that the Mavericks would see him. But, yeah, boy, is he an asset to have, and he will be at the All-Star game tomorrow. Not sure where he fits in or if he will throw, but he's going to be a representative for the Miller Express.
Yeah, there's a a lot of teams in the West, especially, that are very close to one another. The top 3 teams are within 4 games of each other, and the bottom 3 teams are within 1.5 games of each other. So they're really pushing over there to gain first place and just to get into the playoffs. In the East Division, Saskatoon has been running away with it all year. They're 8.5 games up on us. And with 15 games left, my calculation is they'd have to lose 12 and only win 3. We'd have to win 12 and only lose 3 to be able to catch them. And that's probably not that likely at this time of the year. Moose Jaw is 8.5 games behind us. So they're not going to catch us. They're going to have a hard time catching Regina, but Regina is right on our heels. So we've got to win games to keep second place in the East Division.
And the Mavericks still have to play the Regina Red Sox twice. Yep. So if there's a game that flips the other way where Regina wins and the Mavericks lose within the time frame before or after, it could be a different story. Here's Chabot down to first. They're going to get the speedy Soto for out number 1. We didn't even get to introduce the leadoff batter, but you know him well enough if you've watched Mavericks games in the past or if you've watched Miller Express games in the past, and you're going to get to see him tomorrow in all-star action. The switch hitter Thomas Soto has been a staple within this league, and especially at shortstop for the Miller Express.
Oh, I like Soto as a player. He's got such a good eye. He steals bases. He's got 36 walks this year. His on-base plus slugging is close to 500. Like, what a threat. And he's not scared to put down the bunt.
Yeah, every player I've ever talked to about Soto or coach just says scrappy. That is how he plays, and he has excelled doing exactly that for all of his years in the league. Here's a first-year player in the league in William Edwards. He's going to take a strike. We talked about him in the pregame. He's behind 0-2 here against Retzlaff, but when he gets going, he's dangerous, and he's a luxury to have. He'll be joining Soto. Actually, all 3 of the first 3 batters in this Miller Express lineup will be off to Okotoks after this. And from what we've been told, there's a bus that starts maybe in Weyburn, picks up their players, and then comes all the way through. I think Medicine is the last stop on that journey, at least for East Division teams. So for the Maverick players, I know their pickup time is 9 o'clock from here. I can't imagine how early the Weyburn players have to get up on their side of things. For players like Ian Heckett, is going to be an early morning. 2-2 count now. Retzlaff back down. This one's going to be hit over to short, and it is wrapped up. Dart over to first. A low catch there at first by Aaron Volcano, who's there instead of in right field today.
Yeah, Blake Dale at short. We've seen him there, I think, once before this year. So, but he is a natural shortstop. That won't be too much of a change for him.
Yeah, Blake's played at third this year. He's played at second. He's played all over the infield, and he's been consistent at all spots. The only part of his game that's been a little inconsistent has been the hitting part, but we've seen him go on some stretches where he looks really dangerous. Here's Retzlaff with the pitch, and it is going to be fouled aside by Austin Gurney. He will be in his 3rd consecutive home run derby this season as he gets set to try and win it for the first time. He hasn't been successful in any of his past 2 attempts. He's also going to be playing in the All-Star game tomorrow. And I mean, Eric Marriott, their coach, is going to be the head coach for the East Division, so I'm sure he'll see lots of field time as this one goes into the glove of Dvorak over in left field, and that is going to be out number 3, a 1-2-3 first against 3 big-time hitters for Danny Retzlaff, and the Mavs will get their bats up coming up next. Jeremy Freeman Jr., who had himself a game a night ago in Moose Jaw, is in to face Joe Gutierrez for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Here's the first pitch from Gutierrez. That one is going to fall for ball number 1. But the damage that Freeman did last night proved why he is also a 2025 All-Star. Gutierrez is going to start him off, or hit him off with a strike there. Count is going to be 1-1. Looking at Gutierrez's stats so far in the year, just 1 win, a 7.57 ERA, and 28 strikeouts on the season for Joe. Not the campaign he was probably hoping for, but Moose Jaw's pitching in general has struggled a lot. Their team ERA, I believe, is around 6 right now, which is not as good as they would have hoped for, as Freeman's going to swing and miss there, and it's a better than most start for Joe Gutierrez.
Well, with Joe, it hasn't been the strikeouts as a problem. It's been the walks. And, he's got a strikeout per inning, but the walks, he's only got a 1.5 strikeout to walk ratio, and that's I'm sure not what he was hoping for this summer.
Aaron Volcano, the 2-hole hitter for the Mavericks, moves in, almost gets one to the Dome to start his day. The Dome product has had a solid season with the Mavericks. He's one of Wayne's favorite players, I know. We talked about that a bit last game.
Yeah, I like the way he plays the game.
Gutierrez is going to miss on that side with a pitch that just fell. Count is 2-0. Good hitters count here for Aaron Volcano. He's not going to offer there.
That was a good take. He wanted that high fastball.
Volcano steps into this game so far this year, having the best batting average out of his 3 brothers, 275 on the season. He's got 11 doubles, 27 RBIs, 6 home runs. We know the power is there. Probably hasn't been as consistent as he'd like it to be, but when he hits them far.
He's hit some no-doubters this year here.
And a no-doubt walk there for Aaron Volcano as he heads off towards first base, and will send up Tyler Vanesti, who's in the DH spot tonight, and he'll be in the Home Run Derby spotlight tomorrow night. He's making his first ever appearance in the Derby. Jordan Phillips went last year for the Mavericks. Braden DeSonia went in the past. So a new representative once again for Medicine Hat. And he was getting some practice in today with JT, and he said that he's not sure what it's going to feel like when there's a bunch of fans there, and that it was more exhausting than he thought.
I bet. You're swinging as hard as you can. And I don't know how many swings they get. I don't know what the premise is for the home run hitting contest, but you see the major league players and they're tired.
Gutierrez, long stare down to Vanesti. Here comes the pitch. That one is going to fall low. Be a 1-1 count with Volcano on first.
Very good crowd here tonight. I'm estimating we're going to be around 1,400, maybe 1,500. Friday night game.
Yeah, and obviously the 2-day break for the Mavericks, for most of the Mavericks anyways. Vanesti won't chase there. And so fans are going to be itching come Monday night to get back to the ballpark. Swift Current will be in town. Mavs have played the 57s really well this year. They're undefeated against them. Gutierrez, quick look over to first base, then back at Tyler Vanesti. Here comes the pitch. And that one isn't going to be held up. And you talked about the walks early on, Wayne. And
yeah,
now it could be 2 walks in a row for Gutierrez, as it's a 3-1 count to Vanesti.
Well, sometimes it's not even the walks. It's pitching behind, and then you get hit hard. So you may not have as many walks, but when you're behind, the hitters take advantage of that.
Ooh, Vanesti gets rung up with a strike there, and he was ready to throw the bat back towards his own dugout. So Vanesti will have to reset here.
This might be a good time for Volcano at first base to take off. Maps haven't been running as much lately.
And Volcano is going to go here. Walk to Vanesti. They're going to throw it down to second. It won't even matter. 2 on for the Mavericks here. Gutierrez back-to-back walks after an early strikeout to Freeman.
I like JT's call on that. Even if that is a strikeout, you got a runner in scoring position.
And one of the best hitters in the league, Carter Roth, will see him at the All-Star game tomorrow. So you've already got a taste of all of the position players who will be there for both teams so far. Roth's numbers have dipped as the season's gone on. He's still one of the best contact hitters in the league. Ooh, that one right up by the nostrils, and he will not swing. Count will be 1-0.
Well, it was not expected that he would be a 450 hitter all season, but he's still right up there. His RBIs are tops for the Mavs.
Yeah, over the past couple of years, there's been a couple of hitters who will stay in that 400 range. Think of, last season it was Anthony Gilbert for the Brooks Bombers, and Nathan Houston was right up there. Yeah. Jackson Searing, guys like that, they stayed and hung around in that area, but it's usually not more than 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah.
A long look backwards here from Gutierrez. Back towards the plate. Here's Roth. He's going to pop another one backwards.
Boy, Estrada is playing awfully shallow in right field. And so it is DeGrazia in left field, but Estrada is very shallow.
Back to it here on the mound is Gutierrez. Count is 1-2. 1 out, 2 on here. A little bit of pressure from the Mavericks early on. No swing. And missing all sorts of places is Gutierrez.
He's got a good changeup. He's just having a hard time hitting the strike zone with consistently. That was a curveball that never had a chance.
Full count to Carter Roth. Saw the bases loaded early on for the Mavericks yesterday. There was nobody out, and then 3 consecutive outs from Zarate on the mound for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Here's one that's going to be poked out, and the play is going to be made at second by Speedy Ben Wallazek. Boy, his defense is some of the best in the league, and if there's a Gold Glove award list at the end of the year for the WCBL, he is sure to be on it. Boy, we've seen some highlight plays from him over the last couple of times that the Miller Express have visited here.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Wallacek. Just wasn't hit hard enough to get over him, and he got off on his drop step right away and made a good catch.
Back over to the plate where Adam Volcano is in. Got 2 on right in front of him, 2 out. First pitch from Gutierrez going to be a ball. Volcano has had moments where he has looked unstoppable, at least as of late in the last couple of weeks, but also times where he just can't get it going, and that's being a young player and trying to find your rhythm in the WCBL. Volcano's experiencing that right now. That's going to be a strike as he swings through it. For Volcano, I'm not sure if we've talked about this enough on the broadcast, but all 3 Volcano brothers, very talented. They're all in a family band called Lunch Date. That one's going to be hit over to short. Soto goes to third, and they're going to get the third out right there. Good heads-up play by Thomas Soto with a flea flicker to Signs, his roommate back in Moose Jaw, and those 2 connecting for the final out as we send it to the top of the 2nd inning. And a couple of words first from our official network, Flow Sports. And it is Eduardo Sainz who captured that ball to end the bottom of the first inning, who will start it batting in the top of the second. Sainz, the cleanup hitter in the lineup tonight, and he's been that for most of the season for the Miller Express. He'll step in for the first time tonight against Danny Retzlaff on the mound, who had himself a 1-2-3 inning. And Danny, similar to Joe Gutierrez, who we saw before, he can have trouble with walks at points. His strikeout stuff is real good, similar to Gutierrez. And the length of his starts is the other question that you have to have with him. He has innings where he looks unhittable, and then other innings where it's not as clean. He'll look to go the distance tonight. Retzlaff already 2 strikes on Sainz here. Sainz back into the batter's box. That one is going to miss away from Sainz. Long wait here from Retzlaff. Here comes the delivery. This one is going to be grounded over to third. Great play by Roth. Spot on over to first base. A backhander off the shale, and he converts.
That was a very good play, especially for somebody who doesn't play third that often. And that was right over the bag, which sometimes you got to hesitate to make sure it doesn't hit the bag. But fielded it, and then a good strong throw.
And if any fans on either side had any questions about Carter Roth's defense from the last time that these two played, that's usually what he's about out there. That other thing that you saw a night ago, a very rare occurrence, and we expect to see a lot more of that throughout this season and probably in this game from Carter Roth. Now up to bat is Robert Estrada. What a find he has been for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Didn't start the season with them, but has come alive ever since. A .370 average in his 27 at-bats, 10 hits, 1 home run, 1 triple, 5 RBIs, and just 3 strikeouts on the season. He's not going to be an easy guy to get out. We've seen him do well here at Athletic Park. This one going to be popped up. Does Chabot have a play on it? He should, and he does. So 2 down already, and Retzlaff conserving the amount of pitches that he throws here.
Yeah, he's been pitching ahead on all of the hitters, and very consistent in attacking the strike zone. And as a pitcher, that's how you get hitters to swing the bat, and that's how you get your defense involved in the game. You can have quick outs if you're throwing strikes consistently.
And up to the plate is Tanner DeGrazia. Tanner DeGrazia, a constant left fielder for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. He's always in the field at some point, and he plays a real good left field.
Yeah, we've seen him mainly in left field here at Athletic Park.
Retzlaff on the way, and he gets a long swing and a long miss there from DeGrazia. DeGrazia was up near the top of the lineup when the Moose Jaw Miller Express first came to town to begin the year. He slipped down a little further since, but still a consistent player as he swings and misses there. DeGrazia with a .313 average on the season, 28 RBIs. And if that doesn't spell out effective, I don't know what does. 1-2 count here against Retzlaff. Here comes the throw, and it is going to be a swing and a foul off there. That pitch was way in front of DeGrazia, and he makes good work to touch it.
Well, that was exactly where Chabot set up, was on low and away, and Retzlaff hit the glove. DeGrazia just fouled it off the end of the bat.
Attacking low again was Retzlaff. No swing there. Retzlaff has watched a lot of his teammates have their season best performances lately. Gary Dornan was excellent last night. As a swing and a miss there. Beauty.
Good changeup. Good changeup.
Thing floated around the bat of DeGrazia, and that ends the top of the second inning. No luck so far for the Moose Jaw Miller Express offensively, but luckily they haven't allowed the Mavs to get anything either. They look to get on the board in the bottom of the second inning with a whole new cast of characters coming up. It is the lefty Micah Dvorak, and the newest member of Dynamic Duo is coming up to the plate. And if you don't know what that is or what that means, check out the Mavericks YouTube channel for all your Dynamic Duo interviews and much more. Dynamic Duo is a fun series which we do with two players on the Mavericks, and him and Blake Dale were on last week, two returning players this season. And Micah was talking about some of the fun things to do back home in Garden City, Kansas, and he said that the Mexican restaurants are excellent, and that if you're out there, those are the spots that you should go.
Kansas City, the state, or Kansas, the state, would be cooking this time of year.
Micah also spoke about going jet skiing. I think that's what a lot of people right down there would be up to right about now. Right about now, Micah's taken a lot of balls here. It's 3-0.
There'd be hot Mexican food and hot weather.
Throw from Gutierrez is in there for a strike, his first of this inning. Yeah, not as hot as up here. I'm sure it's almost a relaxing break to be in weather that's just a little bit cooler, even if it's just 1 or 2 degrees. Dvorak gonna pop this one up foul.
Yeah, it was 25 degrees here this afternoon, which is just pleasant. Very little wind. There's no wind right now. Both flags are hanging limp on the flagpoles. So it's 25 degrees is about 76 degrees Fahrenheit. So very pleasant day.
Yeah, I believe the Lethbridge Bulls took all the wind that was here in weeks past back with them, as that one is going to breeze into right field, and Micah Dvorak is on first. Boy, that would have been an excellent play over at first base had it been made.
Yeah, Yeager dove, and it just went off the end of his glove. Dvorak hit it hard, so he's on with a single.
So from one Duo's member to another, Blake Dale will come up. Micah over on first. And speak of, if you're not aware of Lethbridge and their weather that often surrounds it, there's lots of wind up there. It's known as one of the windiest cities in Alberta, and it'll shake your house up there. Here's Blake Dale. Ooh, a bullet. That one off the top of the glove of Signs over at third base. Dvorak will stop up over at second. Dale trudged around first, but he'll head back as well, and boy, better make sure there's not a hole in that glove now.
There was no chance on Signs. Blake Dale tattooed that one.
So two on once again for the Mavericks. This is back-to-back innings where they've had this look, and Jamel Chabot will come up to the plate. He's got a Valley City State teammate in the stands tonight, and was visiting with him, and of course lots of Valley City guys on this team. And yes, I'm going to spoil it, as I always do off the top of our show, but Valley City will be the feature of our communities and society, or communities and universities, rather, segment at the end of our show tonight. Chabot going to hit this one over to short. Soto, a beam over to second, to first, and they get him in time. A double play for the Miller Express, and a big double play at that.
JT coming out to talk to the first base umpire, which is Barrett Flack, but I think he was out. It was bang, bang, but I think he was out. Great turn by Wallachek on that. He got rid of it.
And a quick conversation for JT. And oftentimes when we do see JT head out there, it's just for a quick clarification.
Yeah.
He's not out there to argue anything. He just wants to know the reasoning behind the call. And once he gets that, he's on his way back. We see that right here. And speaking of head coaches and speaking to umpires, we saw a bit of a crazy one last night in Moose Jaw. Eric Marriott ejected in that game after going a bit hog wild during a play that, was a close one. I believe it was a foul ball down either the left field line or right field line, and he was fired up after that.
Yeah, I missed that. I watched the first part of the Mavs game, and then I turned it over to the Regina Red Sox Okotoks game.
So Wayne proving that he's more than just a homer here, just so you're all aware. I know there's allegations out there, but he's dispelling those, is moving aside, as Yusei Uzawa.
Well, unfortunately, if you were watching the at-bats, you got a great view yesterday. But if you were watching the play on the field, you didn't get to see much.
Yeah, just the one camera angle in Moose Jaw yesterday. We've hoped they've got that all straightened out and fixed up there. And we also are aware that that is not their fault, that things happen and, technology often doesn't work for us. And it got the Miller Express yesterday. Gutierrez looking to get the final out of this inning as Uzawa will come up, plants that one. Beautiful play by Soto to first, and he gets him. One of the faster runners in the WCBL is gunned out with a flashy play by Thomas Soto. That is as good as it gets defensively. We talked about Ben Walizek and his defense to start. The middle infield in general for the Miller Express, they are phenomenal. What a duo they have up there, and we'll see if we see more.
We should just take a moment to mention Mavs manager and owner Greg Morrison. His junior Mavs, the 13U team, Little League team, is in the Canadian National Championship in Kingston, Ontario, and they're 3-0. They've won their first 3 games. And they play tomorrow morning, I believe. I'm not sure if it's morning or afternoon. But they play tomorrow against Team BC. The winner of that goes to Livermore, California for the Intermediate World Series. That's 13 and under Intermediate Championships. So hats off to Greg Morrison. Greg and Tennille are down in Kingston, Ontario.
And, of course, their son Burke playing on the team, and I'm sure playing great. So shout out to them, and we are cheering from here in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and hoping for lots of success and a big successful one against Ontario, who is not a tough team. But congratulations for beating them. Can Danny Retzlaff make it a third consecutive 1-2-3 inning? He has been dynamite through 2, working quick, not wasting a lot of pitches, and he's wasting the Moose Jaw Miller Express's time. That's the only thing he's wasting right now. Boy, they haven't had anything going. There's one that's going to clip the bottom half, and Nice strike there from Retzlaff. He'll make it 1-2. And Wayne, one of your favorite things, working ahead as a pitcher. Retzlaff's done a lot of that.
Yeah, you get those swings and misses, but you also get weak contact.
And there's some contact that'll go backwards. Batter will stay alive at the plate. It's catcher Andy Rivas. Rivas will come up. Jackson Yeager on deck and Ben Wallazek in the hole. Jackson Yeager has 1 home run already here this year. He hasn't played a lot here this year, other than really the 1 game to start. So we'll see if he reintroduces himself to the Athletic Park faithful. Back at the plate now to see Rivas. Pitch from Retzlaff, and that one's high. Retzlaff very animated on the mound, not in like an angry way, but he does have lots of moving parts, the way he steps off the move, the way he shifts from side to side. This one's going to be popped up, taking flight towards Blake Dale, and it is going to land, into the, no, it's dropped by Freeman. Freeman's going to throw it down to first. They might still get him, and Volcano's going to slip, and the ball slips out of his hand. Just a mess out there for the Mavericks. And we saw a similar play last night. I guess we didn't see it. We heard about it because of the one camera angle. And it was a crash landing between Jeremy Freeman Jr. and Johnny Volcano yesterday during the game. And JT said from the dugout, it sounded like they called at the same time and made contact. I'm interested to know if it's a similar thing out there between Dale and Freeman that time.
Well, the rule of thumb on that is that the infielder is going to go after the ball until he hears an outfielder call him off. And Jeremy Freeman has done such a good job all year of calling off the infielders. However, I think that was Blake Dale's play. It was not that deep, but Freeman comes in hard and he calls off the infielders, and it went off the end of his glove, so that'll be an error. And that's a first base runner for Moose Jaw.
Yeah, the fact that Freeman got from his center field position all the way there is pretty impressive, but it ends up costing him in the end. Back to Retzlaff on the mound now. Waiting on deck is Ben Wallazek, and Jackson Yeager is ready to go here at the plate. Yeager, swing and a miss. He has a lot of strikeouts this year, led the league in strikeouts at one point. And so there is a way around him for Danny Retzlaff, but for Yeager overall, he's a power hitter. He can mash the ball. He led the league in home runs at one point, even led the league in RBIs, but he does a lot of that, swinging and missing. And it looks like he did make contact on that one to keep himself alive.
Yeah, he's got 5 home runs, but I think he had 5 when everybody else had 4. And I think he still has 5.
Yeah, he's slowed right down as this season has progressed. He was the hottest hitter out of the gate. I think we even had him on the Hitter of the Week segment in one of our earlier broadcasts. There's one that's going to land right at the 5-hole of Chabot. 2-2 count here. Still over on first base is the catcher in Rivas.
Chabot's been missing on his changeup. The one was high to Rivas, and this last one was low.
Retzlaff, a swing and a miss, and it almost got Yeager falling forward. He falls for the trickery of Retzlaff nonetheless, and it's out number 1.
When in doubt, throw the heater, and that's what he threw, is a good fastball up in the zone. This guy has been giving us trouble, Ben Walczyk, on both sides of the ball.
I was going to say, he'll be a tough guy to double up. He actually, Wayne, you won't even believe this, but he leads the Moose Jaw Miller Express in stolen bases this year. That's been Thomas Soto's bread and butter for years, and Soto's got 16, Wallazek 22 on the year. He's right on Freeman's tail in center field.
Well, Wallacek walks so much. He's got 35 walks this year. Plus, he's batting over 300. So he gets on base half the time. And when you get on base and you have speed, you can steal a lot of bases.
And for Wallazek was at Indiana State last year. But what I heard from the Moose Jaw Miller Express broadcast yesterday is that he won't be going back there. Teammates with Carter Beck a season ago, the All-Star Game MVP last season, Rookie of the Year, and Canadian MVP. So lots of accolades for Beck, who most fans will see in Okotoks tomorrow.
So Freeman has 19 stolen bases and Wallacek has 23?
I thought Freeman had more than that. Freeman's led for so long, I just kind of assumed he did. Dale's going to leap out, lose the ball in the transition. I don't think he would have had Wallazek anyways.
No.
A nice leaping play there from Dale, who couldn't finish the job.
Yeah, that'll be a single for Wallacek.
First hit of the game off of Retzlaff. And it was a good one. Perfect spot to hit it. And that's the thing about the Moose Jaw Miller Express is they find green grass. It's not always the way that you predict it to be. It's not always the hardest hit ball, but it's in the right spot.
Well, we said that they have a potent offense, and it's not always home runs that makes you a potent offense.
Here comes another speedy guy up to bat, Thomas Soto. Good pitch there from Retzlaff as Soto doesn't swing. Soto on the opposite side here. He's in batting right this time.
Yeah, Wallacek has 22 stolen bases. Freeman 19.
That pitch low there from Retzlaff. Important game for both of these teams as they're still in East Division battle, and both teams worried about Regina tonight as well. We will give you an update on what's happening with the Red Sox, if they are indeed playing tonight. I haven't even looked to see if they are.
Catch out in right field by that youngster over the fence. Tuck out his glove and made a catch.
Well, that's a lot better than what we saw a night ago. Kid take him on right off the gut down there. Ron Shuchuk, I believe, stopped the game for a bit just to make sure the kid was okay. Ron didn't have to stop the game tonight. He's also back in it, so something with foul balls over to right field and Ron Shuchuk behind the plate. This one over the head of Roth and into left field. Runner Rivas is going to round third. Bobbling it there is Dvorak. He might still get one at 3, and they are going to get the runner at third. Wallazek got a little bit greedy and couldn't slide in there, but the first run slides by. Rivas in to score, and it's 1-0 for the Miller Express.
Dvorak was going to have a good chance of throwing out Rivas at home, but when he made the transfer from glove to hand, the ball popped out of his hand and rolled about 5 feet away from him. And that allowed Walsuk to try to get to third, but he was thrown out.
And as far as the Regina Red Sox go, mentioning before, they are indeed playing tonight in Okotoks once again. So a really easy travel day for them, for some of their players. They just get to stay there, stay an extra night, and then get ready for the festivities tomorrow. Lots of players going for the Red Sox this year, and as of, I believe it was either today or yesterday, they announced that they have one more addition, and that's former pitcher of the year and one-time All-Star, now two-time All-Star, Colton Anderson. He's one of the league's best pitchers, and alongside Blake Johnson and Kai Langford, there will be 3 representatives on the mound for the Red Sox. We'll stick to a different red team here for now, a team wearing red hats and a pitcher wearing a red glove in Retzlaff. 2 outs, runner still over at second base, and Thomas Soto won't take much for him to score. Edwards at the plate. Here comes the throw, and it's going to be knocked off the end of the bat and foul. Almost hit Edwards on the way back as it ricocheted off the net.
If they don't pay attention to Soto at second base, he's going to steal third because he's getting a very good lead down there.
Well,
I think Retzlaff has to at least fake a throw down there.
And we saw him do that last night. He stole third. He actually stole it once. Then they called that there was interference, and then stole it again a pitch later.
There we go. Good job.
32 going to check on 22 here. I'm not even sure the check is going to push Soto away from thinking or even attempting going to third. Retzlaff, one look, a second look, and here comes the throw. Foul off there from Edwards.
That was a good changeup, just a little bit up in the zone. Edwards was able to foul it off, but it was a good changeup, had Edwards out front.
And it looked like Edwards was trying to tell himself to calm down after that one, just judging by the hand motion that he walked out of the box with.
Yeah, he wants to stay back is usually what they motion to each other. Let the ball travel.
Austin Gurney waiting on deck. Here comes the throw, and here comes a hit over into right field. easily scoring is going to be Soto, as the throw won't even get there. Volcano's going to cut it off, and with his speed, anything in the field would have scored, and it's a 2-0 Moose Jaw Miller Express lead here in the top of the third.
That ball was not hit hard at all, just off the end of the bat.
Yeah, if it was smoked out there, maybe it could have been more of a bang-bang play
Yeah.
at home. Maybe Soto doesn't even head home, but an unfortunate circumstance there for Uzawa over in right field. Austin Gurney up to bat with Edwards over on first base. Signs on deck. Longer inning of work here for Retzlaff. Jumping on that one is Chabot.
Boy, what a wonderful crowd here tonight. At least I'm going to think they're going to get up to 1,700 tonight.
Well, and I'm looking down at the patio level seating, and it's completely full. You usually don't see every spot fill up. Tonight, one of those rare nights, is Gurney about leaning and getting plunked there, but instead that ball moves in, and it'll be a ball. Gurney popping this one up, not happy with the swing as he loosely chucks the bat aside. Calling that one off is Dvorak, so Dale won't have to make a difficult play there. And that is out number 3. But the Moose Jaw Miller Express, the first team on the board here with 2 runs in the top of the third inning, finally getting to Retzlaff and finally getting 3 hits on the board as well. They're in control, and they've been in control of the season matchup so far. Let's take a look at what that looks like. They are 4-3 to the Mavs, 3-4 so far in the season. Win-wise, all over the WCBL, they haven't been as effective as the Gas City Baby Sprays, as we're calling the Mavericks tonight. Mavericks 26-15, as 17-24 are the Miller Express. But Moose Jaw, we talked about how high-powered their offense is. 311 runs scored this year to the 306 of the Medicine Hat Mavericks. Obviously, that total for the Millers now up to 113, but they found a way to push runners across the plate, and no one more than Thomas Soto, who came through to score in that top of the third.
Highlights, full archive game broadcasts, daily game day previews, plus 2 weekly shows including the WCBL Report with myself and Joe McFarland every Wednesday, and also the WCBL Game of the Week pregame show leading right up to game time every Thursday night. It's all in one spot, the WCBL YouTube channel. Subscribe today. Hey baseball fans, make sure to stay up to date with your favorite teams across the league by subscribing to the WCBL YouTube channel right now. We have tons of free coverage for you over there, including daily highlights, full archive game broadcasts, daily game day previews, plus 2 weekly shows including the WCBL Report with myself and Joe McFarland every Wednesday, and also the WCBL Game of the Week.
Bottom of the third inning, we get back to the action as Jeremy Freeman Jr. will foul that one aside. During the commercial break, you probably saw Clark Monroe on your screen, and we're wishing Clark the best as we're hoping to see him at All-Star tomorrow, but we are hearing that he may be on the injury reserve list. So, Clark, we hope you're doing well, and we hope you are back very soon. Back to the plate now, Jeremy Freeman Jr. in a 1-1 count, struck out in his first at-bat of the night. Freeman going to rip this one down, and they're going to put him on hold here. Is that one foul?
Yeah, that got by signs, but it was just foul. The Mavs have had 2 runners on each of the first 2 innings. They just haven't been able to push anybody across.
Gutierrez steps and delivers. This one going to be hit up over towards short, and the play is going to get through the glove of Thomas Soto. Even though he is an excellent defender, you can't make every play, and that one slips by.
Yeah, he had no chance. He dove for it. It was just hit with that overspin. It picked up speed as it hit the dirt and got by him.
So another runner on for the Mavericks, and if this game continues to follow this theme, it could be a post-game show or a wrap-up that involves missing on first chances for the Mavericks. And, yeah, there's not a lot of second chances in the game of baseball, and the fact that they've already had the looks on the base path that they have, eventually that should swindle out.
Well, the last time these two teams played here, we kind of predicted that it was going to come down to the 8th and 9th innings, and that's exactly what happened. It came down to the 9th inning.
That's not to say that you should step away from your TV screen
No.
and only come back then. Of course, you want to stay along for the whole journey, the whole ride. Volcano, long swing and miss there.
Yeah, it was tied at 4, I believe, going into the 9th inning. Gutierrez hasn't thrown over to any base yet tonight. So Freeman's inching off. There's the first throw.
And that was closer than Freeman probably wanted it to be. He used all of his fingertips to get back there.
Oh, he was going to go. He
Safe
was
once
going.
again. I don't know if you can see this, but in the bottom right corner of your screen, there's a lady in a yellow jacket taking the longest selfie I've ever seen. Boy. Ooh, Freeman going to go over to second. A wild throw that's going to get into center field, and Freeman's going to go for it. Here's the throw from Gurney. It's going to have to be a one-hopper, and it hops in late. So 2 extra bases for Jeremy Freeman Jr. And that gets a clap from the lady who was taking a selfie before.
Well, Rivas had no chance to get Freeman, but he threw it anyway, and then he threw it high over the second baseman. Freeman didn't get up right away, but then when he did see the ball, he took off, and Gurney had no chance to get Freeman at third.
And if you're wondering why Gurney's in center field, he does play a bit of outfield aside from his natural home at first base. Volcano is going to tip this one backwards over towards the big tree in right foul territory. He'll actually clear that tree and head into the parking lot.
So Freeman will get a stolen base, and he'll get third on the error by the catcher.
Volcano is going to send this one high, and it will go all the way foul. One bouncer into the patio down there on the left-hand side. 2 of those at Athletic Park if you're unfamiliar with its infrastructure.
I believe we have 3, don't we? 1 on third base and 2 down the foul lines.
Well, technically there is 2 down there. One of them's private, so only 2
okay.
of them are for show more so. Volcano, another one that's fouled away. Yeah, that far one on the left-hand side is the closed patio down there. Mason closes number 22 stapled to the side of it. Another one ripped down that left side by Volcano. He's got the pulls going on today.
Yeah, he's got 4 in a row. The infield's playing back. They'll let the runner score. Third baseman signs and the pitcher are the only ones that'll hold Freeman if the ball is hit to them.
Good play there by the catcher, Rivas, to get on top of that. Cat-like reflexes.
There is some throwing going on in the Miller Express bullpen. We'll get a name and number for you shortly.
It looks like a number 19, but I can't confirm for sure. Here's one that's finally ripped down the left-hand side and in for a base hit, and that will bring in Jeremy Freeman Jr. It's the first run of the game for the Gas City Baby Sprays, a la the Medicine Hat Mavericks, and Aaron Volcano with the RBI single on that one.
That was a good at-bat by Volcano. He fouled off 4 pitches in a row and then finally worked to a full count and got a pitch, a hanging curveball that he pulled into the hole for an RBI single.
So Gutierrez will face Finesti for a second time here. And looking down there, seeing number 19 warming up, that is Aiden Sheets. He was the starter last time the Miller Express played here. Here's Volcano. He's going to try and steal. He's not going to get there in time, and the Miller Express are going to get him first. It was Soto on the tag.
Rivas threw a bullet down there, right on target this time.
So back towards the dugout is Aaron Volcano, first out. And as I was saying, Aiden Sheets pitched here last time, and he ended up being a part of the winning side, but that game was neck and neck the whole way for most of the game. And Sheets had some turbulence early on. He settled in after a couple of rough innings, but we'll see if he can get it going here, as now he's used to this facility. He's used to playing in front of a big crowd, and see if his play follows. Back to Venesti at the plate, who's in a favorable one. It's 2-0, and Venesti now will be 3-0 against Gutierrez.
I'd give Venesti the green light, 3-0.
And it doesn't look like he's going to get it there as he takes the pitch.
Well, that pitch was up and maybe out a little bit, and good take by Venesti.
Gutierrez again, that one jumps up into the belly of Rivas, and he's not happy with it as he throws it back, and he's gesturing. It looks over maybe towards the dugout. At least he's gesturing to Gutierrez as well, and there's pure frustration from Andy Rivas behind the plate as Venesti now over at first, and there'll be a mound visit here with Joe. I don't believe this will be the end of the night for Joe Gutierrez, but we mentioned off the top of the show, he struggles with handing out walks. We've seen that over and over again here.
Well, that's a second walk to Venesti tonight.
And I get
Mushar are going to have a hard time catching Regina, and they have very little chance of catching Medicine Hat and no chance of catching Saskatoon. They're pretty solidified into where they are. It would take a good run by Weyburn for them to catch Moose Jaw. And I think Moose Jaw is just too good of a team.
Yeah, and Weyburn we thought would be a lot better this year, and they just haven't won a whole lot of games, and they've lost a whole lot of close games. There's been games that they've been leading that they let go at the last second, and that is the difference between being a good team and a great team, and oftentimes the great teams end up making the playoffs, and Moose Jaw has been one of those for this year and the considerable past. There's a strike to Roth.
Roth hit that little flare over Walczak, his first at-bat, that Walczak was able to get back and make a jumping catch on.
There's a strike to Roth. Not sure he was a fan of that one, judging by his expression. Ooh, a bouncer there. It's going to get behind Rivas. Off to second is Tyler Venesti. And you don't see Tyler Venesti steal a whole lot, but that time it goes his way, and it was a no-doubter to run down to second.
Yeah, well, that was a wild pitch. Rivas tried to block it, and it got by him, and it went behind the umpire, and Venesti saw that, so it was an easy trot down to second base.
Fourth stolen base of the season for Tyler Venesti. Wayne is informing me via sign language that that is not a stolen base and that I don't know baseball. But no, I'm just kidding. I wanted to add extra. But that is indeed not a stolen base because of the wild pitch.
Roth gets called out on a third pitch strike.
Is there any way on a play like that that you could, put that on Rivas instead of the pitch more so, and that it was ahead of him at one point and kind of spiraled after? Is there any way that could be turned into something like a stolen base? Yeah,
you could put it on Rivas too, but to me that pitch bounced, and once it bounces, it's a pitcher's fault. If it goes off the catcher's glove, then it's a pass ball on the catcher. But Venesti wasn't stealing. He only took off once he saw the ball bounce and get behind the umpire. So sometimes it's really hard to tell where we are, whether the ball bounced or whether the catcher just missed it, because we don't get a really good view here.
Count is 1-1 now to Blake Dale. This is Adam Volcano wearing the number that Blake Dale wore last year, number 2. Volcano, hot one over towards third base. Signs is going to huck that towards first, and he gets it there. So that's out number 3, and the Mavs just get the 1 run on the board. Freeman coming through to score. Aaron Volcano with the RBI single into left. But it's a close one as always between these two. A dogfight to the very end is what you can expect. So stay tuned. And maybe stay tuned for a new pitcher on the mound come next inning for the Miller Express as Aiden Sheets is getting hot down there in the bullpen. And we're back into the Athletic Park. Well, we're at least in the Athletic Park booth, but you're watching this game from Athletic Park, of course, always on Flow Sports. So we check in for the top of the 4th inning. Danny Retzlaff back on the mound for the Mavericks. He's worked well today, gave up the 2 runs in the last, 3 hits overall, but he's been steady. This one's going to be ripped right into the glove of Carter Roth and right out as he tosses it down over to second to Adam Volcano, the position that he usually plays. It's a quick one out here for Retzlaff.
Yeah, that's the second ball we've seen hit at third base like that. Blake Dale hit a line drive down there, but it got back by Signs, and now Signs hits one, but he didn't get it past Roth. I'm stumbling over my words there. Truman, help me out.
No, it's all good. They're stumbling up here. They're stumbling on the ball diamond. Errors are everywhere. They're hard to avoid. Retzlaff, a couple shakes to the side here into the glove. Pushes it by his face as per usual. This one's going to be popped up by Estrada. Back flick there. Volcano will make the play on it. That's 2 quick outs. And for the Mavericks, you have the breaks coming over the next 2 days, but it is still important to get your guys rest as the season's going on and they've, got some scars that have built up over time. And for some of the relievers, they could have 3 days off here if Retzlaff keeps chugging through this order like he has and making quick work with pop-ups like we saw.
Well, the Mavs had a real stretch of many, many games in a row. I think 11 games out of 12 days. And that takes a toll on you, especially when it was as hot as it was. It was very hot during that stretch.
DeGrazia, first pitch is a ball from Retzlaff. Lights are turning on here at Athletic Park, and that one fouled back to the netting by DeGrazia. And I talked with Garrick Levesque, pregame Mavericks relief pitcher, had his best outing last night in Moose Jaw. He'd been struggling throughout the season. Things hadn't been going for him. And for his teammate at Tabor, Xander Roberts, everything had been going right and still has been. And so Levesque was waiting for his moment to get into the spotlight. And he was fantastic at Roswell's Park. And I asked him, I said, did the off days for you specifically, because he wasn't throwing a whole bunch, did that help you? He's like, oh, did it ever? I needed that time off to get back into it. And his coach JT even said the difference between him working so often and having that big break and coming back hungry was night and day.
Yeah, I believe it. The players don't understand that this is not like a college season. They might play once during the week, and then they play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Here you're playing 6 out of 7 days.
Low one there. Chabot will backhand it. Full count here to DeGrazia. Retzlaff ready to go, and this one is going to be hit over into left field over the head of Carter Roth, and there is one aboard. It's number 4 on first base, Tanner DeGrazia, with a base hit. So DeGrazia on. Andy Rivas, who was up last time, or got on last time, is now up to bat.
Yeah, Rivas hit that ball that was over Blake Dale, and Jeremy Freeman came in and called him off, and then the ball was dropped, and he came around to score the first run.
Hits are now even at 4 apiece. Ooh, quick throw over to first. They're going to check on DeGrazia. That was maybe more than a check, though, as they tried to get the tag as well. Trying to bring that one down was Chabot, high from Retzlaff as he hops up and down. This one is blasted over into left field, all the way back, and all the way gone goes Andy Rivas. And it is now a 4-1 Moose Jaw Miller Express lead.
Ouch.
Man, the long ball has worked here at Athletic Park for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Jackson Yeager to start the year. And then I believe it was Robert Estrada last game who went deep. And now Andy Rivas joins the party. They just are allergic to keeping the ball in the ballpark here, are the Moose Jaw Miller Express. And another example of that from their catcher.
Yeah, you could hear it off the bat. There was that certain crack, and that ball was tattooed about halfway up the berm over in left field.
And the Miller Express may be stealing a little bit of flair from the Mavericks with that, what is it called, the bump jump you've been calling it, Wayne? Most teams do that throughout the league. Nobody's stealing anything from anybody. It's all in good fun and all in good celebration.
Yeah, the jump bump.
And on the bump still is Danny Retzlaff, who's having a real solid day before giving up that home run. The 2 runs before, not a big deal. But you give up something like that to Rivas, you're going to have second thoughts about how you performed today.
Well, you had the 2 quick outs, and then all of a sudden the hit over third base, and then the hanging curve ball.
Ooh, a wild swing there from Yeager as he strikes out for a second time this game, and some fans giving it to him as he walks back over towards his own dugout. But that doesn't matter. Another 2-run inning for the Miller Express. That's back-to-back with 2s on the board. And that too in a more fun way as Andy Rivas goes yard.
Create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian.
Welcome back to our bottom of the fourth inning, as we got a new pitcher on the mound for the Moose Jaw Miller Express, and it's a guy who both Miller Express fans and Maverick fans are familiar with, and that's because Aiden Sheets is back on the mound, who was here last time, in one of the last times that these two teams played. He was a starter. He started 2 games so far this year. First appearance in relief, gone just over 4 innings. He has given up 8 walks, 5 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and he has so far this season a 9.64 ERA. So some work to do here for Sheets, as Dvorak will foul that one backwards. Three-run ball game now after the home run from catcher Andy Rivas. Rivas made no doubt about that one. Maybe some doubt into the mind of the Mavericks, who've struggled against the Miller Express this season, and there's an out for Mikey Dvorak via the ground ball. Yeah, 3-4 are the Mavericks, but it feels like they're 0-4 against them. Nothing has gone right when they've played these guys, other than that first game of the year where it was a tightly contested affair, but the Mavericks ended up coming out victorious. And was that a game where they hit a walk-off? I believe that might have been one of those walk-off games.
Yeah, there are teams that match up well against each other and teams that don't match up well against each other.
Yeah, you look at Lethbridge, every time they come into town and they face the Mavericks, the Mavericks have dominated them. Even Okotoks, the Mavericks have looked really good against. And those are 2 teams who are on the upper echelon of this league, but Medicine Hat has made them look very normal. This one's popped backwards by Dale. Count will be 1-1. Ooh, it almost hit a guy getting 50-50 tickets down below.
Guy beside him got the ball with the Mavs baseball cap on.
I mean, I would buy those 50-50 tickets now. Very fortunate to have had that ball miss him. Dale, another pop-up. This one will stay in the field of play. Should be playable over at first, and it is. So that is out number 2. 2 quick outs for the Medicine Hat Mavericks here. Nothing going their way as Jackson Yeager gets a mid on it.
Well, Sheets has got that sweeper pitch. It's kind of a sidearm curveball, and it moves more horizontally than vertically, and it's really tough to stay on that. You've got to hit that pitch to the right side, and right now what we're doing is we're popping it up, or Blake Dale did.
Missing low there is Sheets. We said Sheets has 8 walks to just 2 strikeouts so far. So those walks are going to be available. The Mavericks just need to be patient in a game where a lot of times you can get impatient. That one up through center field, and Chabot will drill in a base hit.
Yeah, it was good to see Chabot get that hit. He grounded out last time into the double play when we had runners on first and second.
So Yusei Uzawa up at the plate. 1 on for him. But the 2 outs helping Aiden Sheets and company here. Chabot really not a threat to steal over at first base. He's got a long lead, though, as he sees Uzawa foul that one off. Chabot back to the bag at first. Back to the plate at home is Yusei. Sheets into the glove as he gets ready to pitch. Here it comes. Steps forth and fouled the other way is Uzawa. That went into a bush down on that left field side. I'm not even sure if you can call that a bush. It's a tree. It's a fern of sorts. I'm not sure the exact description of it, but it's long, it's tall, and it's green.
Yeah, those are not global cedars, but they're a cedar tree of some sort.
Ooh, air mailing that one was Sheets. Good play to get the arm up there by Rivas. Uzawa behind 1-2. This one going to be ripped down over towards right field. Chabot going to pop over to second base and stay there. Uzawa over at first. 2 on. Maybe a late inning rally here for the Mavericks against Sheets.
Well, he got that sweeper pitch, but it's coming into a left-handed hitter, and Uzawa just turned on it. Didn't try to do too much, just hit a line drive.
Sheets will head back to the mound, getting ready for the top of the order. Jeremy Freeman Jr. up to bat. Can tie this ball game with 1 swing. We've seen him hit a lot of homers lately. That power has come a long way from the beginning of the season. See if he gets a blueberry muffin from Sheets to blast, and he will blast one into the glove of Yeager over at first base as Yeager hucks that aside for out number 3. So it wasn't the hard hit ball that Freeman was looking for. And 2 relievers who haven't allowed a lot of hard hits off of them so far this year are really the 2 secondary relievers within each rotation. Luke Barrientos has come in for a lot of saves this year, 4 of them to be exact. He's got a .594 ERA with 26 strikeouts. 2 saves on the season for Christian Garcia, who behind Nathan Pichot, who's their main closer and all-star closer, has been the go-to guy. 6.17 ERA, 20 strikeouts. He's appeared in a lot of games. Both these guys have, and we will see if we see them both in a close game if this one continues to stay where it's at.
I'd have somebody warming up right now.
Well, as the song playing around the stadium says, I'll be watching you, and we'll be watching Danny Retzlaff on the mound here. That one fouled off of the foot of Ben Wallazek. Nobody warming up behind Retzlaff at the moment, so this might be his inning to clean out in the top of the 5th. It'll be interesting to see when the 6th comes about. I don't know how high Retzlaff's pitch count is. It can't be as high as we think because he hasn't thrown a lot, and especially he had a couple innings where it seemed like the Miller Express popped it up right away. No swing there from Wallazek. It'll be a 1-1 count. See if we can get an official pitch count on for you here. So it is 46 strikes to 23 balls for Retzlaff. So if you do the math, that's 69. That one going to bounce in the dirt. 70 after that one.
It
Doesn't
just
feel like
he's
even
starting to
throwing 70.
pitch a little bit more behind, and the balls are getting up in the zone. And I think, hopefully he can come back, keep the pitches low in the zone, get those ground balls.
There's a strike as Chabot holds it high. Retzlaff leaning in, getting a sign here from Chabot. Here comes the pitch. Long leg kick, and it is going to be low. A bouncer past the plate.
And that's part of Waldacek's game. He doesn't mind taking the walk.
Full count here.
Strikeout.
And strikeout. Wallacek can't believe it. He looks left, then he looks right, then he has a word with Ron Shuchuk, and then he goes on his way back to the Miller Express dugout.
I thought that was a good pitch by Retzlaff. He painted the corner. It might have been a little bit outside, but as a hitter, that's too close to take on full count.
28 strikeouts on the year for Danny Retzlaff. 4 in this game. There's a bouncer way in front of the plate. Soto was never thinking about swinging at that one. No walks on the night for Retzlaff. 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 4 runs in total. He's faced 18 batters. Evens the count at 1.
I like Roth came charging in just in case Soto put down the bunt. He tried it on the very first pitch of the game. Good pitch. Chabot set up outside just as he did with Wallacek, and Retzlaff hit the target.
You talked about regenerating yourself before, Wayne, and for Retzlaff, he started to do that in this inning when it looked like there was some fatigue. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He gets Soto. A rare strikeout for Thomas Soto. William Edwards up to take a try at Retzlaff once again. Had a slow base hit over into right field that didn't get a hard bounce at all. Soto came in to score on that play. And that is not discrediting William Edwards at all. He's still a great player, but that hit is one that you'll take with less steam than most. This one doesn't have any steam at all as it's in the air and into the glove of Aaron Volcano. That does it for the top of the 5th inning, a 1-2-3 inning for Danny Retzlaff, and we'll see if that does it for him tonight. And if it does, a solid performance overall. He's kept his team in it as we head to commercial break. Well, you saw that one without any commentary, and I think the play speaks for itself. Johnny Volcano, Aaron Volcano, plunked as he's off to first base, and a furious action there as Sheets pins him in the side.
Yeah, I think Sheets was just trying to throw that sweeper pitch, and it didn't break at all. And I think he said something to Aaron. I didn't mean it, or my bad, but.
Well, it really never is intentional on those
Yeah,
plays.
no, that's
There's
right.
the once in a blue moon where somebody gets one in the side on purpose. Not a lot in the WCBL. That's more of an MLB thing or a college thing where you'll see those tactics. Tyler Venesti has one strike on him here facing Sheets for the first time in this game. Volcano over at first, and there's got to be a big inning run-wise for the Mavericks if they want to play catch-up here and even the score between them and the Miller Express. Not only in this game, but on the season series. They're 3-4 against the Millers so far, trying to tie it at 4-4. Looking to do the same in this ballgame. Sheets a long lean here. Here comes the pitch, Venesti. And he's going to get one in the leg. So back-to-back hit by pitches here. His TV's off towards first base. It'll bring up Carter Roth. Good start to the inning, or I guess a bad start to the inning as well for the Mavericks. And for Tyler Venesti, he's been hit more than just about any player in the WCBL so far this season. We'll get an official stat count on it so far.
It's about 11 or 12, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I don't even know if he's got 11 now.
Yeah.
11 hit by pitches is the official number. And I would be surprised if that's number one in the league. Or not number one. Actually, number one is a player in this game, Wayne, on Moose Jaw. I'll get you to guess who it is. The player that's playing in this game.
Gurney.
It is not Gurney. It is Tanner DeGrazia. 20 hit by pitches so far this season.
Oh, wow. The one thing that's happened so far, in all 5 innings so far, the Mavs have had 2 runners on base. We just need to come up with some clutch hits.
Carter Roth is one who often provides that. Here it comes from Sheets. Back-to-back balls here. It's going to be 2-0.
I think in a normal circumstance, JT would have Roth bunt, but you got some power guys coming up here, and you want to see them drive in those runs. Yeah, Sheets is just not having any control this inning.
They're going to talk with him on the mound here, and for Roth, this is a blinding green light right now at 2-0.
Well, he got called out on strikes his last at-bat. Christian Garcia from Chandler, Arizona is warming up. He's the sidearm specialist with Moose Jaw, and I think he's getting real close to coming in.
And we talked about Garcia before when we were comparing those 2 relievers and 2 mainstays. Barrientos, of course, for the Mavericks, and on the other side it is Garcia. So this is the guy they want against a good team against Medicine Hat, who they're playing catch-up against, and they want a win against a team that's also a rival. Roth. Couple taps of the bat along his shoulder. And there's going to be a strike. Looked a little bit on the higher side, but it's called that nonetheless.
Well, although it's a hitter's count, that's a good take by Roth. You'd like it to be 3-0, and it could have been, but it's 2-1. He's still in control.
Roth going to send this one over to Soto. It's under his glove. Rounding third, and then he's going to pull back his Aaron Volcano. That one going to bounce over towards Rivas. Ducking out of the way was Adam Volcano, and the bases are loaded after a base hit from Carter Roth.
I know Volcano wanted to score on that, but that was a good call by Reed at third base to hold him up. Gurney, it wasn't that deep. It was hit hard, but Gurney came in, and he made a good throw. He would have been out at home had Volcano tried to score.
And for Ryan Reed, he loves to send players at third, and it isn't usually in his nature to hold anybody up unless he's very certain like he was there. Good job on stopping Volcano. And stopping Sheets' day here is going to be Eric Marriott. He's going to take him off the mound. A couple of head shakes there from Sheets. Christian Garcia will enter the game, and we will have some numbers on him and a line score on Sheets in a moment's time. We'll be right back. Adam Volcano, boy, he's got a pretty sight in front of him. Loaded bases, nobody out. That's as green as grass can be. And on the mound now, Christian Garcia standing in his way from driving in any runners. And Garcia, pretty good track record as a reliever. The ERA maybe not as pretty as he would like, but he's a great pitcher when he comes into games. There's a strike to start off the night for his matchup against Adam Volcano.
Well, Adam just has to wait back and try to hit the ball to the right side. I think that's the best strategy against this guy. Ooh.
I want it pulled Rivas down to his side.
Yeah, you don't have to be over anxious. This guy isn't throwing that hard. Adam has grounded out to the left side both times so far.
Another bouncer there from Garcia.
What you need right now is something put in play. Put the pressure on the defense. Hopefully you can get it in the air to the outfield. But strikeouts are going to be terrible right now.
This one is going to be grounded foul. That nearly a strikeout there. Lucky to get a piece of it was Volcano.
Corners are playing in.
This one is going to be hit into the glove of Signs. He's going to go towards first, airmailing it, and they're not going to get Volcano. A fist pump from his brother Aaron, who comes in to score, and it is now a 4-2 ball game.
I think Signs might have been undecided about where to go, because he had lots of time to throw it home. They would have had the force at home. He might have had a chance to go to second, but he came up and he just launched that. Good effort at first base by Yeager. But that'll be an error on signs.
So the first of many, at least, for the Mavericks, or at least they're hoping for many here. As Micah Dvorak comes up to the plate, you feel like he's due for a good contact hit into the field somewhere. He's been in a bit of a slump lately. Hasn't found his magic. Did have a home run last night, so back to his power swinging ways, but mostly known for his contact and his ability to place the ball anywhere. Batting in one of the highest parts of the lineup that he has this season. They're going to get one out at home, and that is Venesti. All they needed was the tap of a plate with the bases being loaded, and that's out number one for the Miller Express. Dvorak now down over to first. Roth moves to third. Adam Volcano on second, and Blake Dale now at the plate.
Dvorak has hit the ball hard twice tonight, but right at the first baseman that time. The other time it went off the first baseman's glove. And that's all you can do is try to hit the ball hard.
Dale digs his heels into the batter's box. And that one going to be a swing and a miss. Off speed there, a dipping throw from Garcia. As Wayne had mentioned, Mavericks not looking for strikeouts here, and that's what can work in the favor of the Miller Express. A slow roller, and they're going to throw home. I'm not sure if they got him.
Oh.
They did get him. Roth isn't happy about that. He looked at Shootchuck, had a couple of words, and he will head to the dugout now.
Yeah, it's a forced play, so you don't have to put the tag on, but that was very close.
And for those wondering, well, it looked like the catcher was blocking the plate. Well, he had to tap the plate, so it's okay for him to be in that spot in that scenario.
Yeah, you have to have your foot on the plate if you want the forced play, and Rivas didn't do anything out of the ordinary or anything he shouldn't have done. So the Mavs are down with 2 outs now, and they need a hit from Chabot.
Chabot, there's a strike on the first offering from Garcia. Two outs. What a way this would be if Garcia can pull them out of this mess. One had the catcher Rivas leaning over, so it's 1-1. Chabot will step out. And as I said yesterday, we had a similar thing happen between these two. The Mavericks had the bases loaded early on and weren't able to convert. Here's Chabot. A flipper into center field, and it's going to drop. One in to score, maybe two. All the way around, sliding in and getting in is Dvorak as he claps his hands together, and so do all the fans here at Athletic Park. This one is tied at 4 apiece.
Boy, the Mavs needed that, didn't they? A big hit by Jamel Chabot.
So Chabot over on first base now, Dale over on second. Maybe a chance for Yusei Uzawa to plop in another run. But that was needed tying the ball game with the amount of runners that the Mavs had on the base path there. And, of course, 0 outs with the bases loaded at one point. That's what you want to see from your team production-wise if you're JT and the rest of the coaching staff.
This could be a good matchup for Uzawa.
Ooh, that one ended up hitting his bat. I don't even think he made a attempt at swinging. It just landed in that spot.
Yeah, he was going to swing, and then he decided not to, but it came right into his bat. Again, the right fielder is very shallow. Estrada.
Swing and a miss there from Uzawa. Stepping off of the rubber is Garcia. Uzawa with those large gloves in the back of his pocket there. Oversized oven mitts. Uzawa is going to ground this one foul. Uzawa was batting in the 2 spot to start this season. Way up at the top of the lineup, he has since slipped. Plays a lot in the outfield. Has had a couple of games where he's been in the DH spot.
And he played a couple games at short, too, did he not?
He did, yep. A couple games there as well. That one missing on the left-hand side from your viewpoint.
Well, if Osawa can put this in play, especially if he can hit it into the outfield, we're going to score another run.
Blake Dale, good speed over on the other side, and that one steams past Yusei Uzawa, but the Mavs do get 3 runs on the board, their largest scoring inning of this game, largest scoring inning that any team has had so far, and it is tied at 4 apiece. We're right back where we were a couple of games ago, and that is fun territory as these teams go jab for jab once again.
Well, we're going to just switch topics here a little bit. If any fans out there are looking to come to Medicine Hat next week to watch the Mavs, it's the Medicine Hat Exhibition and Stampede, great extravaganza that they hold every year. There's going to be a free pancake breakfast starting on Monday, and it'll go all through to Saturday, maybe even Sunday. The Exhibition and Stampede itself runs from July 23rd to 26th. There's an all-breed horse show. There's the professional rodeo, one of the best in North America. There's going to be a parade on Thursday morning, and that'll feature our premier Danielle Smith. The grandstand shows are 3 nights of the week, and then we have fireworks every night. So if you're looking to come to Medicine Hat, there's lots to do next week, and it's really a fun time. It's the summer festival here in Medicine Hat.
And also beer gardens down there. Everybody that I've spoke to about the beer gardens, because I haven't experienced them a lot myself, can't actually remember what they're about or what happens there, and I can't blame them. You might have to check it out for yourself, and hopefully you remember what goes down at the beer gardens.
Well, they also have lots of free things that go on there. There's a dog show. There's also a hypnotist. There's rides. Of course, the Midway is a big thing for kids. They have lots of rides and games of chance, and so I think it's a fun time for Medicine Hat, and we know the kids look forward to that every year.
They sure do. Wayne, you mentioned the pancake breakfast. Maybe don't bank the pancake breakfast and the rides back to back from personal experience. Stay away from that. But if you do want to include both of those within your itinerary, I would advise that both are good options. Here's Austin Gurney at the plate, always a good option for the Moose Jaw Miller Express when it comes to needing a hit and needing a timely one in a 4-4 ball game. Danny Retzlaff still on the mound. As Gurney looks into the reflection of that red glove, here comes the throw from Retzlaff. And after the inning that he had in the top of the 5th, there's no question he's out here once again for the top of 6.
Yeah, it's been a very good outing for Retzlaff tonight.
It's going to have to see Gurney, Signs, and Estrada here. Gurney swing and a miss there. Gurney a bit of a pull hitter himself. He can hit the ball in any spot, but he hits it even harder when it's in that hot spot in the pull area. Nobody warming up yet for the Mavericks. There is some stretching going on down there. Can't tell exactly who that is. No offer from Gurney there. Count will be 2-2. I think it's number 20, Diego Centella, who's getting in some arm stretches, and talked to him before the game, and he said he's due to possibly get into this one. So it's a potential option. Gurney's going to pop this one up, huck the bat aside. Bit of a furious throw from Gurney, whose struggles continue here at Athletic Park. Other than that first game, last week? There's been so many games against Moose Jaw recently, you lose count. Not the home opener, but the game after that, he had a real strong outing. I think he had 3 hits in that. The last game, he had a bunch of pop-outs and never really got any production.
Well, he's flown out twice to left field, and then this time on a good curveball, a good slow off-speed pitch from Retzlaff got him to pop up to second base.
Brings up Eduardo Signs playing third base tonight. There's a strike from Retzlaff. Mavericks do have one new reliever added to the roster. Not sure if we're going to see him tonight, but another lefty, Deegan Sanders, red shirt freshman out of the University of Mid-America Christian. Of course, Ryan Reed from there. And Ryan Harney. So beforehand, we only thought that Ryan's came from both Oklahoma and Mac U, but Deegan has proven us all wrong. Oh, and 2. Here comes the throw from Retzlaff. That one low. Once this at-bat is concluded by Edward Signs, whether that's in success or not, we will talk to you about who's going to be in the Home Run Derby competition tomorrow at the WCBL All-Star Game. I would advise you tune into that event. Most people are more excited for that than the actual game at times. There are some premier hitters in this league and premier power hitters, and many of those big names are in this year's contest, so watch out. 2-2 count here to Signs. Retzlaff on the high side.
He was up on him 0-2, and now the count has worked on Signs to 3-2. That last pitch just missed.
Signs with the yellow batting gloves. Ready for a pitch out of the red glove. This one's going to be launched over to right field. Should be playable there, and it is. That is out number 2. And with that, as I promised, let's talk about the Home Run Derby tomorrow. We mentioned Tyler Vanesti in it for the Metasnap Mavericks. Austin Gurney, his 3rd time around in the competition for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. The last member of the Miller Express to be in the competition, not named Austin Gurney, is Wayne's favorite guy who we talked about already tonight, in Nate Mensick. Ian Heck, his 2nd time around, saw him pitch here, and you're going, a pitcher in the Home Run Derby? He's a two-way player, if you couldn't remember. Doing lots of DHing, a hard bunt over towards first here. And the play will not be made by Retzlaff, who came spiking in towards first base, and he could not outrun Estrada. So Heck in that competition, he's always an intriguing one. And maybe the most intriguing player this year in it, Ethan Menard, league leader in home runs. He wasn't in it last year because Carter Beck, who's also an elite power hitter, was in it. He was the runner-up. So Menard in it this year. Brady Bye, catcher for the Regina Red Sox, has found his power this year. He's always had it, but now he's started to unleash it, both an all-star and a participant in the Home Run Derby. Jack Kaliski of the Lethbridge Bulls, we saw him last game. Not a lot of power displayed in that one, but he has done so in the past, his 2nd round in the home run competition. Wilmer Henriquez led the league in home runs earlier this year. He's in there. Nash Kroll, his 3rd time around. We know how well he has played throughout his tenure with the Okotoks Dogs, fan favorite. Aiden Macaris out of the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Haven't seen him here at Athletic Park this year. Timo Aracenia, another guy we haven't seen. Matt Rodas, also have not seen him. Those 3, all a part of the competition. Timo Aracenia, excellent player, 2-time All-Star, is on base is Tanner DeGrazia. And Wyatt Ormonde, I think we remember watching him with Brooks when the Bombers came here through 2 games, the final member of the competition. So we will see who takes the home run throne and wins the Golden Bat during that competition. Last year's winner, Peyton McDowell of the Fort Mac Giants, not a part of the competition this year as he no longer plays in the league. So we'll have a new winner. That's very exciting. And maybe a new pitcher on the mound here, Wayne. Long talk with Danny Retzlaff.
Well, Retzlaff got those first 2 easy outs, and then he was up 0-2 and missed on that pitch that went to 3-2 for a strike. So he's just struggling here a little bit now, but hopefully he can get back into the strike zone. Andy Rivas is up. Rivas hit the 2-run home run his last plate appearance. He scored 2 runs tonight. I really like that bunt by Estrada. He pushed it towards first base, and if you can get it by the pitcher, which he did, it's a very difficult play. There's no chance for the second baseman, and that was a perfect bunt. So back-to-back singles.
And can Rivas have himself a night here? Runner going to go. Chabot, throw over to third. There's no chance to get him. Good play by Roth to hold the bouncer off the dirt. And runners are now on the corners. Do you think in some way that actually might help the Mavericks here, Wayne, with having that second base available?
No, You got a runner 90 feet closer, a wild pitch or anything can score an easy run. You've got two away there, and you're down in the batting order. You just got to go after this hitter, make some good pitches.
There's a strike to Rivas. I wasn't looking. There's 2 outs, not 1 out. So
yeah.
I was thinking the double play is even more in position now. But they just need the 1. Rivas just needs 1 hit here to give the Miller Express the lead. Runner going to go. Chabot won't even throw it to second. DeGrazia actually stopped up there.
Well, that was a little bit of a delay steal, and what the intent is on that is to have Chabot throw through and to get them in a rundown at first so Estrada can come in from third. But Chabot did the right thing. He held on to the ball. That's a stolen base.
So 2 runners in scoring position. Strike 3, so much more important now for Retzlaff. Here it comes, and Rivas is going to send it over into left field. Dvorak in and out of his hand. This one is on cue, and the tag is there. They get DeGrazia at the plate. I'm not sure what tag it was, but it's there nonetheless. Retzlaff does give up the 1 run, and so it is a 5-4 Miller Express lead. And now an argument here over from third base, and we saw a coach get ejected yesterday. Could this be round number 2?
Well, I think what the coach at third base is saying is that the catcher was blocking the plate, but the throw did come to the foul territory, and Chabot had to go and get it, and the runner didn't slide either, so I don't think that there was any mistake made there by anybody.
Well, I was going to say it might not even have affected the play at the end of the day. DeGrazia went around in a circle regardless, and no matter the result at the plate, it is a 1-run Miller Express lead, and Andy Rivas continues to have himself a night. Another RBI on his scorecard, and his team in front. Jeremy Freeman Jr. will look at a ball in the dirt here from Christian Garcia. Second inning of work for him. And there is somebody warming up for the Mavericks. It looks like it's Diego Centella. And my guess is that we'll see him in the top of 7. Not sure how much longer he'll go afterwards. I'm sure the Mavericks would like 3 innings out of him, but we'll see how he's feeling today and how he's working. Freeman, a dart up center field, and that is a base hit to start things off. And a timely one as well with the Mavericks down by 1.
That's exactly what the hitters have to do. That sweeping curve, Freeman just let it get it in over the plate and then just stroked a hard single up the middle. Mavs with runner on base again. They've left 8 on base so far in this game.
You know, Jeremy Freeman Jr. used to seeing that, not with the Mavericks and not with Ottawa either, but he's a Chicago White Sox fan. They leave a lot of guys on base when they can get guys on base, and even that's a celebration. Apologies to all White Sox fans, but we know it's a tough time within their organization right now. This one going to bounce by. A classic White Sox play from Rivas here, as it's a second base for Jeremy Freeman Jr.
Yeah, that pitch bounced in the dirt again. Freeman wasn't going to be going on that, but I think he was going to steal eventually. You could tell he was itching to get down to second. So a runner in scoring position, the Mavs have a chance to tie it.
And it's Aaron Volcano. Ooh. Fooling him there. A foul off from Aaron. Tyler Vanesti waiting on deck. This is the meat of the Mavericks order.
Well, Volcano's got to get the runner to third. The least he can do with this at-bat.
Ooh, almost got himself to first there. A quick slide out of the way.
He's already been hit once tonight. Hit last inning and came around to score.
Two and one. Here is the pitch. It is going to be sent into center field. This might cause some trouble for the center fielder. It's going to be made there from Gurney, who catches up with it. Freeman all the way off to third base. And so it will advance the runner, Wayne. You said worst case scenario. And that's a good stroke there from Volcano. Almost got it all the way out.
Yeah, he got fooled a little bit on that pitch, but he sat back and hit it to the right side out into right center field. That's a very good at-bat by Volcano.
One out for Tyler Vanesti.
Corners are playing in. Middle infield's playing back.
First pitch is a strike to Tyler. TV out of the batter's box. I don't believe he got to play in last year's All-Star game. I think he was maybe have an injury at the time, but he is back now, healthy as can be, and he's ready to go for tomorrow. That's one thing you'll see even last minute, teams pulling guys from being able to play for a multitude of reasons. Not going to speculate to which certain players have theirs. Ooh, a great play by Yeager at first. He'll tap there, and that'll freeze Freeman over at third.
You couldn't hit that ball any harder, but Yeager stuck out his glove and was able to hold Freeman up at third. Good play by Yeager, but boy, did Vanesti hit that hard.
Carter Roth with a chance to get Freeman in here. Roth had a nice base hit up center field in his last plate appearance. He'd take that again here to get Freeman across. This one is going to be sent the way of Yeager, and he dives and just misses. Oh, close to converting there was Jackson Yeager.
Well, Roth was definitely fooled on that sweeper pitch. And we've seen him do that a lot this year, where he'll just stick the bat out and put it in play somewhere. He's got that very good hand-eye coordination.
Roth will not dip down and try and fetch that one. It's going to be ball one. That one handcuffed Roth a bit. He wouldn't even swing.
Well, sometimes you're so used to that pitch going across the plate as a right-handed hitter, and that time it was a fastball just in on the hands. It didn't have any break to it.
Ooh, Roth's not going to go, but now he will. Freeman's going to come across to score. I mean, I was almost right with saying score because I don't know if you can call that a score in this case. I mean, you've just seen those too many times this year, I feel like, Wayne. In close games, the wild pitch has been the kryptonite of the opposing team who's trying not to give up a lead.
Yeah, that was freak play. You don't see that too often, but that curveball gave Rivas trouble, and he just wasn't able to hang on to it. Luckily, Roth took off to first, and Freeman just scooted home.
There's a darted strike by Garcia. Adam Volcano with the plate, and there is a pitcher warming up down on the far right-hand side for the Miller Express. It looks to be donning a number 14, so if you know who that is already, then you can let us know. And that went out into center field towards Gurney. We'll have a name on who's warming up for the Miller Express in a second, but we will let you know this. The Mavericks have tied this ball game at 5 apiece. Hits almost tied as well. The Mavericks leading by 1, 9-8. And it looks like Diego Centella is about to enter this game. But before he does, let's take you through a fun little segment called Baby J's. I know it's simple, it's straightforward, but with the baby sprays out there, we might as well talk about some players who played for the team that helped this idea come about. David Wells, being famous for being a Yankee. Well, he was being famous also for being a really good pitcher in the MLB. Played for the Blue Jays and played for the Medicine Hat Blue Jays in 1982. A 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, and the ALCS MVP in 98 when the Yankees took home one of their many World Series. Chris Carpenter, boy, one of the more underrated players of the 2000s, spent the 94 season with the Medicine Hat Blue Jays, a 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ as well in 06 and 2011, and the 2005 NL Cy Young winner. Boy, he was one of the best pitchers on the planet for a little 3-year stretch there when he was with the St. Louis Cardinals. And Alex Rios on the Medicine Hat Blue Jays in 1999, a 2-time All-Star, and was a part of the 2015 Kansas City Royals World Series. Now I'm going, this is a guy that played in the minors for the Med Hat Blue Jays in 99, and he won a World Series in 2015. That's how long his career spanned. And he also hit for the cycle in 2013. So there are a couple of fun facts about the Medicine Hat Blue Jays and some of their players who played here before they were washed away. You know what they always say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and it's 5:05 here tonight, but it isn't 5 o'clock here, so it is actually currently 9:06 local time here in Medicine Hat, Alberta, as we have gone 2 hours through this match, and we're here in the top of the second, and it's Diego Centella time on the mound as he works his way into this game. 1-1 count against Jackson Yeager, the first batter he will see tonight. Centella, boy, he survived a tricky stretch in his last appearance. This one's going to be fouled off. A bases-loaded jam against the Lethbridge Bulls, and he fought his way out of it with a strikeout at the very end. And, boy, he showed some emotion. Hadn't played in a little bit, but he was given a dustpan signal. It looked over towards the Lethbridge Bulls dugout, telling them to go back that way. And, boy, he's been sending a lot of batters back towards the dugout so far this year, including Jackson Yeager, who he sits down there. Thanks, Diego. That was perfect timing to set up that call. You don't usually get him like that, but appreciate the favor, Diego.
Well as Yeager has done at first base tonight, that's his hat trick for the strikeouts. But, boy, he saved a lot of runs over at first base with his glove.
And you can tell when the confidence is down for a player, and for Yager, it looks like that right now. At the start of the year, he was lightning. Nobody could stop him, trailblazing through the WCBL, and it has all come to a screeching halt, and we've seen lots of at-bats lately, like the one we just saw there. Here's Centella will go off speed, and that one's a ball.
Well, the one thing is you get into the postseason, and your stats are gone. And all of a sudden, you can have a great postseason, and you're right back on top of the world.
This one's going to be hit over to short. Bouncer into the glove of Blake Dale. Sidearm throw, and he's going to get Wallacek.
Whoa!
Whoa.
He was out by a half a step.
And JT doesn't sprint very often, but here he comes out of the dugout. He's not happy about that one.
Oh,
and he will have
my
a long
goodness.
discussion here at first base.
That wasn't even that close. That was not even that close at first.
Yeah, JT with a furious stride out of the dugout there. Usually he comes out, handles his business, but it was almost like he was waiting on that call to go the other way. Now, could have Wallacek's reaction at the very end also played a role into it? Because he was screaming safe the whole time, even though it wasn't really close.
Yeah, I mean, that's baseball. Umpires miss calls, and that's part of the game. But unfortunately, that call wasn't that close.
Still some disbelief here at Athletic Park. We know Wallacek's fast. That's not the question at all. It's how fast can you be when it's a play like that? It wasn't a slow hit ball over towards Blake Dale, and he made a hard throw.
Well, it's just one of those plays that you hope doesn't come back to affect the outcome of the game. Because for Diego, he got exactly wanted, a ground ball.
And Diego back-to-back balls here. It's 2-0. Wallacek was slipping and sliding behind the play, looking to get back to first.
Well, if Diego doesn't throw over to first base to try to hold him on, and Diego has a very good move over there, Wallacek's going to steal.
There's one off the toe of the bat for Soto. And Soto on the other side now. He has gone one from the left-hand side, then two from the right hand. Now he's back on the left-hand side.
I think he batted all right-handed tonight, Truman. I think.
Well, he's left-handed now. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but
Well,
he does move around so much you never can tell. But.
Well, when there's a left-handed pitcher out, he's always going to bat right-handed. And with a right-handed pitcher, he'll bat left-handed. Excuse me. I think Wallacek might be going. Oh, good hold by Diego. Good hold.
This one's plopped up over into left center. Long run for Freeman, and it's going to drop right at the wall into the glove of Freeman. He's going to bobble it all the way around his Wallacek, and he will score without a doubt. And furious fist pump, but in a good way for Wallacek as he crosses home plate. And now he's gesturing to the crowd.
Well, he knows he shouldn't have been on first base to begin with, and now he comes around and scores a go-ahead run. So
Thomas Soto.
The fans are giving it to him down there.
Thomas Soto, RBI double over there at second base. And now they get William Edwards and Austin Gurney. This could be the turning point in this game. You can't fault Centella on that one. Centella going to step off with the distraction of Thomas Soto in the background. Someone almost confused Chabot behind the plate.
Well, it was a curveball, and it was meant to be low. It just bounced in front of the plate. Centella does a very good job of holding runners by changing his cadence on how quickly he pitches.
There's one that jams Edwards. He's going to foul that one off to the right side. And the 50-50 being announced, so you know Wayne's already getting a look to the left, or the right of me, rather.
I couldn't hear it.
I don't think it matters. He didn't win.
Yeah, I didn't win it anyway. I throw my ticket away.
One's across the board. Here's Centeo. Ooh, that one got away from him. Soto hustles over back towards second base.
Soto's eyeing up third base, and that would be great for Moose Jaw for him to get there because of his speed.
Oh, this one is hammered. What a home run for Edwards. A 2-run home run for William. And it's a 2-run lead for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Correct that, a 3-run lead for the Miller Express, but nonetheless, that one was launched so far. Whoever's picking the range at the golf course up there tomorrow might find a baseball in their picker. Wow.
Yeah, that ball was tattooed, and sometimes you just make that little mistake on a pitch, and Edwards didn't miss it. So hats off to him.
And I think for the Mavericks, maybe a lack of focus after the play over at first base. I'm sure it gets to players around, whether you're recovery time or getting back into the fold of things, and putting that call aside is quick or not, it's still going to affect the rest of the game and how it feels. And Moose Jaw playing with house money, feeling like they got away with one there, and they've capitalized.
Well, we said you hope a bad call doesn't affect the outcome of the game, but that would have been the second out. And that second out's a big out.
One hit across by Gurney. And while Gurney gets ready to step back in, let's take a step back and look around the league at some of the other scores. Top of the 9th inning, the fastest moving game ever, it feels like, between Swift Current and Weyburn. The 57's up 2-1. Looking to play spoiler against the team that's ahead of them. Gurney's going to push this one over towards Dvorak. He's going to dive down and make the play in left field for out number 2. Gurney's tough night continues, and Dvorak with a stinger to his side there. And continuing with our look around the league as Eduardo Sainz comes up to bat. 1-0 for the Sylvan Lake Gulls as they play at home against the Fort Mac Giants. And I'm sure Fort Mac happy to see Sylvan Lake on the schedule before the All-Star break. It's a little bit less of a journey to get to Okotoks, but they are down 1-0, so that can't feel good. And this can't feel good for Diego Centea if he's about to come out of this game. And JT is going to send him out of this game, so Centea gets 2 outs, but maybe easily his worst appearance of the season so far for Diego.
He didn't pitch that bad. There was 2 balls that were hit, the double and the home run, but theoretically he could have been out of that inning too. You don't know what's going to happen after that call.
And Luke Barrientos is in the game, so a perfect head-to-head for tonight. We get to see Christian Garcia earlier. Luke Barrientos is warming up now, and we will continue with our run-through of the league scores here. Okotoks, bottom of 7 at their home barn, where they'll be as well tomorrow. They're up 4-2 on the Regina Red Sox. Over in Lethbridge at Spitz Stadium, it is a 5-3 Bulls lead over the Saskatoon Berries. They are in the same spot that we are, top of 7, and we will return to the action in the top of the 7th when we come back from commercial break and when Luke Barrientos is all ready to go. Luke Barrientos into the game, and into the game with him is strike number 1 to Eduardo Sainz, but a tough inning for the Mavericks. A punch back here, and a large punch back from the Moose Jaw Miller Express. It is now an 8-3 ball game. This game has come to a screeching halt, and the Mavs' comeback effort, which they completed for a moment there, has also come to a halt.
Well, every inning that the Mavs scored, Moose Jaw came back and scored in the top of their inning, the next inning, and that's been a pattern all game. We've been down 4-1 already in this game. We're down 8-5. We still have 9 outs. This game isn't over.
Yeah, you mentioned last time these two teams played, Wayne, the 8th and the 9th. Those are the most important innings, and we'll see if that rings true here. Robert Estrada waiting on deck. Eduardo Sainz a strike away from going out. Barrientos looking for it, and had a high flyer over the head of Chabot as he reaches out and grabs it out of the clouds. This one going to be ripped through the glove of Roth at third, and it's a base hit for Sainz. The inning continues.
Yeah, right underneath Roth at third.
Would have been a tough play regardless for Roth to make. I don't think he's getting that throw off towards first. I think I can name a handful of humans who might be able to pull off that play, and Nolan Arenado might be near the top of that list.
Well, Sainz is not a fast runner, so he might have had a chance, but a tough play.
And a little flip over to second. That tough play completed there by Adam Volcano at second. He sends that one Blake Dale's way, and a tap of a bag will end the top of the 7th. We'll head into the 7th inning stretch, and while we do that, let's do our Friday night spotlight here quickly. And we're going to do 2 tonight because we missed it last week. And we're going to do 2 pitchers. Ryan Dexter back with the Mavs for his 2nd season. He started playing baseball at the age of 8. His favorite MLB teams, he believes that you can have 2, are the Boston Red Sox and Toronto Blue Jays. I'm sure fans of those fan bases might disagree with that, but, Ryan stated his reasoning, and it's a fair reasoning. He played hockey growing up alongside baseball, as many Canadians do, as he's a guy from Ontario and a key part of this Mavericks bullpen. And a key part of the Mavericks rotation to start the year was Max Hudlow, a graphic designer on the side. Max, if you're watching right now, we wish you all the best. Graphic designer on the side, joined the Mavericks towards the end of last season and joined them after a couple games into this year as well. Had been a part of the roster all along. His favorite MLB team is the Minnesota Twins, being a guy that's from Minnesota, and his favorite pitchers are Joe Ryan and, funny enough, Clay Holmes, former reliever, now converted starter with the New York Mets. So those are 2 guys that he patents his game after, and 2 all-stars at that. So those are your 2 Friday night spotlights and 2 returners this year for the Mavericks and their pitching crew. Seventh inning stretch is done, and we'll see if that allows the Mavs to stretch this game out. They trail 8-5 here in the bottom of the 7th, so still time to go, but they want to even the score. Missing that one with a bit of a push off that throw was a new pitcher who's in the game for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. And we will have a name for you in a second here. It looks to be at number 14, and I think it is Abe Alberg, who was also in the game as a position player when we first saw him about 3 games back. But he's pitched in the last 2 here at Athletic Park as a reliever.
Did. Yeah, he attacks the strike zone. He's got a good fastball.
Micah in a good hitter's count here, 2-1. Waiting on deck behind him is Blake Dale. Dvorak. That one back to the netting.
Dvorak is upset with himself. He's been late on both fastballs from Alberg.
See if Alberg uses that to his advantage here on the 5th pitch of this match. Alberg onto the rubber. Dvorak will step back into the batter's box now. Dvorak, this is a little chopper. This might get down into left, and it's gonna. A base hit for Micah Dvorak. You can see Chad Martin over at first base putting the stop sign on there as Micah almost was gonna run right through. Good way to start
that's
off
what we
with
need.
bottom of 7.
Leadoff hitter on.
And up is Blake Dale, who almost broke the hand of Eduardo Sainz over at third base earlier in the game. He smoked one right off the top of his fingertips and into left field. A hard hit ball like that could pay dividends for Dale as they throw to Dvorak over at first base. He's going to be safe. Dale couldn't catch up with the fastball either as he swings and fouls it off. It's a secret weapon for Alberg there. He is throwing heat towards the dish. Rivas is going to be out there with the fire extinguisher pretty soon. Throw back over to check on Dvorak. Dvorak over at first base. Real keen eye over there for Alberg, who keeps him tight. Dale, another one he couldn't catch up to, and it's fouled back to the netting. Mavericks have been a team to be messed with here at home. They've put up some valiant fights. Were undefeated for a majority of the season. Their first loss at home coming on June 26th against the Regina Red Sox. They proceed to lose back-to-back at home shortly after that on the 28th and 29th of June, and then they lost to Moose Jaw on June 12th here at home. So only 4 losses on the year at Athletic Park. That's a really good track record. The Miller Express hoping to make that 5 tonight. Be the second team to have beaten the Mavericks twice here. Of course, we mentioned the Berries did. Alberg, here comes the throw, and it's up near the ear of Dale. Two all on the score clock. And for a former number 2 in a Mavericks uniform, now turned number 5, he waits for the pitch from Alberg. Here it comes. Dale, a swing and a miss, and that fastball used to the advantage of Alberg once more.
Yeah, it's got a good fastball for sure. Chabot has had a fine night. He's got 2 hits, drove in 2 runs with a single up the middle. His last plate appearance.
Chabot up to bat, Yusei Uzawa on deck. Dvorak still over at first base. Strike from Alberg. He's in the zone right now. He hasn't missed often with that fastball.
No, he's getting ahead in the count. He got ahead in the count to both Dvorak and Blakedale.
There's some standing going on down at the Miller Express bullpen, and I wouldn't be bringing any of those guys into the game if this is how Alberg's going to work, unless he's pitched a lot recently. We don't know that. Not a fan of that one, are the over 1,000 umps in the audience.
Yeah, we got about 1,500 of them here that are booing.
I'm not sure if that's a ball or a strike, but it is a boo. Chabot pops this one up, playable at short for Soto. And Soto is going to make that play as he glides on to the green grass of the outfield.
Good curveball had Chabot out front. After those fastballs, it's really hard to slow down and wait for that curveball.
Yusei Uzawa to the plate. Dvorak still over on first base. He's been there for a while. Strike there to Ozawa on the first pitch from Alberg to him. Night sky slowly creeping in. Those lights have been on in the outfield for quite some time. They keep checking on Dvorak over at first base. I'm not sure if he's going anywhere.
No, we need base runners, but, you know, sometimes you get it in your mind that he might be going, so you keep throwing over there. But Dvorak's only off 2 steps.
At the hands of Uzawa.
Yeah, if Uzawa can get on, we got the top of the order up.
Freeman standing in the lane. Alberg, a long look at the ground here. Now he'll look back towards Uzawa.
Oh.
And that one is going to be held up for a strike. Another call by the fans here that they had opposite from home plate umpire Ron Shuchuk. Uzawa, oof. For a heater, that is a great pitch to foul off. That was not easy. Some odd piano music coming out of nowhere there, maybe trying to set the stage.
Little cryptic music.
See if that haunts Alberg at all. I doubt it. I'm sure the only thing he can hear is the sound of Yusei Uzawa's bat going the other way. That's not what I was going to say, but it worked anyways.
Yeah, that's what you want. You just keep passing the baton, and we got Freeman coming up. Freeman's a fastball hitter.
A home run hitter at that. Aaron Volcano on deck if we get to him. Mavericks trying to put together a 2-out rally here. Alberg back towards the hump as he eyes down Jeremy Freeman Jr. Big moment in the game here for Jeremy. Here comes the pitch from Alberg. It's going to miss. Both runners are going to get to a new spot. Uzawa over to second, Dvorak over to third, and that makes things a little bit easier on the all-star center fielder.
Well, a single with Uzawa's speed at second, and you're almost certain going to score 2 runs. Manager Eric Marriott is going to trot out to the mound. They might put Freeman on intentionally.
Well, I'm sure Aaron Volcano wouldn't be mad at that because he sees a fastball pitcher on the mound as a guy who hunts fastball and higher fastballs all day long. And now they're going to talk with Ron Shuchuk. He's coming into the party on the bump.
I think they want to just confirm, is it just holding out 4 fingers, or how do you put Freeman on first? I'm just guessing though, folks. Fans are giving a little bit of the Bronx cheer to Eric Marriott.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the discussion was all about. We'll
I
probably never find out. Freeman back in here. And Alberta back to work. Key spot here with 2 runners in scoring position. One is down into the dirt. The pitch from Alberta. And that one's going to hit for a strike.
Well, they're definitely not looking to pitch around Freeman.
This one is going to be hit through the gap over by third base. 1 in to score. Here comes Uzawa. He is running as fast as he can, and he is in there without a throw to the plate. Jeremy Freeman Jr. with a 2 RBI single, and it's a 1-run ball game here at Athletic Park.
Should have put him on. We talked about it. But, yeah, good got bat by Freeman. That's his 3rd hit of the night.
And now this is music to the ears of a musician himself in Aaron Volcano. Fastball pitcher on the mound with 1 on and a chance to take the lead. Aaron Volcano gets set here to face Abe Alberta.
I think I'd take at least a pitch. Well, maybe not. Freeman's got to get to second.
And taking a pitch there was Volcano. He wasn't too sure about the call there, but he'll live with it. Massive rally with 2 out for the Mavericks. Dvorak was just waiting to move on first base. Uzawa got on and made the best of it. Now Volcano trying to do the same, but in a different form. He wants to do it with the bat.
Hits are even at 12 apiece. Sorry, Truman. Hits are even at 12 apiece. There goes Freeman.
And a swing and a foul off from Volcano. And I'm sure looking back, he'd like to wait on that one because Freeman was in there with no problem.
Yeah, but it was a hanging curveball, and you can't take a chance that the home plate umpire might call you out on that pitch. I like the way Volcano was thinking. He was looking for that hanging curveball. It was just a little bit up in the zone.
Freeman not going this time. This one is popped up. Playable over at third base for Signs, and he's going to make the play. So the Mavericks do get 2 back in that inning. Volcano not pleased with his efforts at the plate as Freeman is left on first, but Freeman is the one who brings 2 home. And we have ourselves a ball game tied at 12 apiece in the hit column, but the Millers out in front as it stands at this moment in time. Tanner DeGrazia comes in to face Luke Barrientos. Barrientos on the mound for his second, and he was in the last after Centea was pulled with 2 outs. So he hasn't pitched a full inning yet. We'll assume that he gets to that point within this one. And 3 quick outs is what the Mavericks need here. They add 2 runs in the last, combating the 3 runs that the Miller Express put up previously, and now it's time for a defensive shutdown. And they really haven't seen a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings since the beginning of the game when they had 6 consecutive outs.
Yeah, the first 2 innings it was 1, 2, 3, and then after that, the 5th inning, Retzlaff bounced back after giving up those 4 runs, and he had a 1, 2, 3 inning.
DeGrazia swing and a miss on the off speed there from Barrientos. Barrientos out of FloCollege. Has worked primarily out of the bullpen this year for the Mavericks. And a foul off there from DeGrazia, and that's what the Miller Express do so well. They don't go down very easily. They make it hard, and they work counts in their favor, and they work counts long.
That was a good curveball from Barrientos.
This one going to be hit towards second base. Adam Volcano. A flyer over towards his brother at first, and that's out number 1. And here comes a dangerous hitter and a red-hot hitter in this game. It is Andy Rivas. Or Rivas, my apologies. Andy Rivas, home run tonight. RBI single tonight. He's the reason they're ahead right now.
Yeah, he scored 2 runs, has 3 RBIs.
Rivas not knowing as the big dog, the flashy player on their team. That goes to Gurney and Edwards and Soto and Yeager in the first half of the season. But when you can get production out of a guy who kind of comes out of nowhere within a game, that is special, and that is why they got 8 runs on the board right now.
Well, the last time we saw Evan Derringer as a catcher here and Gustavo Soto, I don't recall seeing Rivas before.
I don't think I do either. Now, that could be wrong.
Yeah.
He might have pinch hit here even. I'm not certain about it. Barrientos. He's going to twist up this count at 2 apiece.
It's got that late, sharp-breaking curveball.
Wanted to go with something sharp again, but that one didn't start where he wanted it to.
Yeah, just a little low. Missed on the low side. It's where you want it. If the hitter's going to hit it, he's going to hit a ground ball.
Speaking of ground balls, there's one to Blake Dale. Hopped on him at the last moment, and he still converts. Oh, that is not an easy play from Blake Dale.
You called it. It came right up, right into his stomach area, and he kept his glove on it.
Well, it almost looked like it caught him in the wrist at the very end.
And that's what you want, are those ground ball outs.
And if you wanted to get into your opponent's head with a walk-up song, I think I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys, the very start of it. That's one way to do it. Boy, it's like listening to white noise walking up to the plate. This one past Freeman in center field. He went for the diving play, and this could be 3 bags for Yeager. He's going to hold up over at second, bouncer into the glove of Adam Volcano, and a play that Freeman wishes he could have remade.
Well, Yeager wasn't going to wait around. He already struck out 3 times tonight, and he wasn't going to fall behind in the count. First pitch he saw that he liked, he hit a line drive into center field. I like Freeman's effort on that. He probably, on second thought, would have pulled up to keep the runner at first. But good coverage by Usawa, got in behind it and threw the ball in.
Wayne, I know you don't like me saying this, especially when it's not for your Mavs. But I do want to say, and we didn't mention it before, so I'll mention after, that Yeager was due to have a hit tonight. You said he struck out 3 times, and he obviously gets it there.
Yeah, that's true. So Walsek started the rally last inning with that questionable call at first base.
Good play there in the dirt by Jamel Chabot. Had to get his hands messy to make that play. 1-0 count. Top of the order coming up for the Miller Express, so either they'll see it here or they will see it next inning, but a good spot nonetheless. Some running around going on behind the play as Volcano had himself moving, large in part due to Yeager moving away. Walazek going to shimmy out of the way there and open up the door. That's ball number 2. Walazek with a little bit of room at the end of his bat here, just looking for some contact. And he's going to get some contact. That's a high flyer out into foul territory. Nobody warming up behind Barrientos. There is a pitcher warming up down on the Millers side of things. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I think it is Nathan Pichot. And it is Nathan Pichot. We saw him here earlier. There's a strike from Barrientos. He is an all-star. He is one of the better closers in this league. He's been the go-to guy all season long for the Moose Jaw Miller Express in big moments, like he's about to see in the bottom of the 8th and potentially the bottom of the 9th. Here's Barrientos. 2s across the board, and that one up into the air for ball 3.
Yeah, you want on that pitch, you want it to be more competitive, and looked like it slipped out of Barrientos' hand.
Fans making noise. It's what Walazek wanted them to do before. Barrientos wants it for a different reason. That pitch is going to miss, and Walazek's off to first base. So 2 on for the Miller Express. And now here comes the gauntlet. Soto, Edwards, and Gurney. 1-run ball game here.
Soto's 2 for 4 tonight.
Well.
Yeah, 1-run ball game. You got to shut it down. We said they needed that shutdown inning.
Another high one from Barrientos. That's been his miss tonight.
Yeah, if he can keep it down in the strike zone, he's going to get a ground ball. If you get it up in the strike zone, Soto's going to do what he did last time. He hit that 2-run double.
Ooh. Soto had to be quick on his feet to jump out of the way. I think the last guy you want to see right now is William Edwards. And that's not a slight on Soto because he's a fantastic hitter as is. But Edwards has been a different level this year. He's also a guy that looks to be calm in big moments.
Well, he hasn't faced Barrientos yet this game. None of these batters up here have.
Quick chat between Chabot and Barrientos has come to an end.
It's not going to get any easier with the next few batters on deck. Good pitch.
Didn't want to let it leak to 3-0.
And that was a good take by Soto, 2-0. Sometimes you get a little over anxious, but it was a curveball. He just took it.
Soto, grounder towards first, and a airmailed throw into the dugout. 1 run in to score. It's now a 2-run ball game, and that one botched.
Yeah, that play had potential. Aaron just, I think he rushed the throw. Soto wasn't as close to first base as he thought, and Barrientos was over there. It just had to be a throw that was over top the plate, and unfortunately it was behind Barrientos. I
Yeah, it's
think
not
they're going to
easy.
have a look at Barrientos right now. He slipped on that play. With the throw behind him, sometimes you twist and turn the wrong way.
And that's not an easy play to make, Wayne. You're right.
No.
Fading away like
Yeah.
that.
Especially Aaron is not a regular first baseman. We've seen him most of the time out in right field. He has played a little bit of first base, but that's a play that you don't practice enough in this league.
It just seemed for where the hit was at and how slow it was rolling that it would have been a simpler play. I guess no play is easy in baseball, but
And it's tough because you have Adam Volcano at second base, and Aaron doesn't know whether he should take it, let Adam take it, and that's just a little bit of unfamiliarity. But credit to Moose Jaw, they came back and scored again.
and up is William Edwards. So Wayne, you talked about having a clean inning here, and the Mavericks don't get that either. And I think if we look back at this game, and this is the continued result, that it will be talked about that in the back half of this game, there weren't any clean innings, and the Miller Express continued to put up runs. And that's credit to them, but it also needs to be a bit cleaner on the other end, too. This one is so far gone. Forget about it. William Edwards might be the hottest hitter in the league right now. What a home run that one is. And he's got two that are up there near the golf course. Absolute no doubters. And another big inning for the Miller Express on the road. Man, maybe he should be an extra add to the home run derby with a swing like that.
Yeah, he's hit the ball twice, very solid.
And that home run clears the bases, and it also might clear the stands as fans making their way to the exits now, with the Mavericks trailing by 5 runs in the top of the 8th inning. And Barrientos will now see Austin Gurney. And there is some warming up going down in the Mavericks bullpen. But this works out just as good as ever for the Miller Express. They get to bring in probably Pichot. I think you want to have him in for one inning, but they could switch here now that the lead is bigger.
That's right. It was a 1-run lead. Now it's a 5-run lead.
And it looks like there is some shuffling of cards down there in the Miller Express bullpen. Pichot's going for a walk around now. He's no longer warming up.
Yeah, they don't have anybody throwing anymore. They just might let Alberta continue to finish this game.
Two and one count to Austin Gurney. Barrientos behind in another count. That's been one thing. He has been behind a lot. Gurney going to chop this one down to first. Out with the dustpan is Aaron Volcano, and that will be the third out, but not without damage and not without an excellent performance once again by William Edwards. He goes long, second homer of the night. The Miller Express put up 4 and put fans out of their seats and into the parking lot here at Athletic Park. Lots of rotations here for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Pacey Phillips into center field. Evan Derringer behind the plate. And new pitcher on the mound, and it's Nathan Pichot. Vanesti will foul that one backwards, but a completely different ball game from what we saw in inning before. It was a one-run game and a monstrous inning here from the Moose Jaw Miller Express. 4 runs on the board. William Edwards with the big shot, of course. And it has changed things. We weren't even sure if we were going to see Pichot. All-star game tomorrow. Thinking they're probably going to get him in there as well as Vanesti fouls this one aside. Play won't be made in foul territory. Would have been a tricky one regardless. And for Pichot, we talked about it. The numbers don't lie. He is that good. A 1.92 ERA, 23 Ks, just 10 walks, 4 earned runs in just over 18 innings pitched. Yeah, elite of the elite.
And he's a youngster, just out of Regina or from Regina. I think he's only 18 or 19.
And his father, the president of the Moose Jaw Miller Express, Daryl Pichot. So baseball running in his blood, and you often see, you see the last name attached to a higher up in an organization and a player, but he has earned his role as the main closer here. And Vanesti down here. Those two will be teammates tomorrow, but bitter foes at the moment.
That pitch looked at least 4 inches inside.
One out, Carter Roth up to the plate. His first bout with Pichot tonight. Roth. That one hit hard over towards right field, and it's going to be down. Going to be 2 bags for Roth. A little bit of a stumble there, and Carter has himself a double. A wave to the crowd by Adam Volcano, who's next to come up to the plate. Wayne, if you're going to put a number on it in this inning, how many do you think the Mavs need to get to make it a real threat come the 9th?
Well, they need 4. They need 4 runs this inning. The big thing is not how many can they score, but can they stop Moose Jaw from scoring in the top of the 9th?
Yeah, sometimes you just run into a team that is too hot, and it looks like the Miller Express might just be that as they're chugging down the tracks right now. One didn't get down for Pichot. Ball 1. Pichot.
Well, this is the 3rd game in a row against Moose Jaw. In the first game, I think it was a 9-run deficit. Last night it was a 11-run deficit. Both teams winning one and losing one. And here we've got 28 hits again tonight, 19 runs.
Do you think these two teams are getting sick of each other now, Wayne? Do you think they want a new face in front of them? Just even a new jersey combination to see? I'm sure that not seeing red and white tonight is good for the Miller Express.
And we got to play them 2 more times. This is the 5th game out of the last 8 that these two teams have faced off. That scheduler has to change this. I don't think Moose Jaw want to change, though.
You do realize the scheduler could be ChatGPT or an AI bot nowadays.
Yes.
I'm not sure he's on the other end of this broadcast.
Thank God there's software for all that scheduling now.
What did it look like back in the day? I'm sure you scheduled your fair share of ball tournaments and ball leagues.
Yeah, it used to be by phone call. You'd talk to one team about dates that were open, and then if you had to change, you'd have to phone another team and say, can we change this game? And then they'd have to call somebody to find out if they could change. And yeah, it took about a couple of weeks to do a schedule.
Fouled off by Volcano. And how long did that last? Like, when was the downfall of the phone call scheduling era?
I think it still goes on.
People are still doing that?
Yeah, because while our youth teams here play in the Montana State American Legion program, so it's all by phone call yet. And then you confirm by sending a schedule.
Here's the delivery from Pichot.
Boy, did he slow up his arm on that curveball. So if Adam can get on, Micah Dvorak has hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. He's got 2 hits.
Volcano swing and a miss on a full count, and that is out number 2. Roth waiting patiently over on second base, and 1 run in this inning probably isn't going to do it come the 9th inning. The Mavs have had some great comebacks. They always have belief. That's not ever questioned. But is it realistic? And Pichot's going to have a quick chat here. Gurney waved off, told to stay at first base. And because of the success that Dvorak's had tonight with hitting the ball well, it's probably a little bit of game planning, a little bit of tactical analysis against the lefty.
He had a good game last night against Moose Jaw, so they're probably thinking, you know, we don't want this guy to hit a 2-run bomb, and all of a sudden the Mavs are rolling again.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be happy not to have to see Dvorak for a little bit of time. And I'm sure for Eric Marriott, he'll be happy to have some of these Mav guys on his team tomorrow. The Carter Rose and Freeman and all the guys going to the All-Star game. They will be coached by him. Of course, how that works is the winner of the WCBL championship, their head coach gets to coach their conference's team. And whoever the team is that loses in the finals, they get the other side. So the last year's final was Moose Jaw versus the Okotoks Dogs. So the Okotoks Dogs have Lou Pote, who was their manager last year, Mike Schmidt, who has now come back to be their manager this year. They will be co-coaches, and then, of course, Eric Marriott with the Moose Jaw Miller Express on the other end.
And we were talking about this before the game, but it was good to see one of the Sports Network interview longtime hitter Matt Stairs from the Okotoks Dogs, a former major leaguer who won several World Series, played about 14 years, I believe, in the big leagues. And he's coaching the Okotoks Dogs. He's their hitting coach, and they interviewed him on TV tonight. They had him on for about 10 minutes on Blair and Barker. And he was wearing the Okotoks Dogs uniform.
Well, and we've seen Jamie Campbell on Sportsnet. He's had lots of different hats on. Stopping up at third is Carter Roth. There'll be runners on the corners here. Dvorak on once again. Blake Dale will come to the plate. But he's been a big proponent of celebrating the WCBL and showcasing what this league's all about by wearing hats and going to stadiums. He was just in Saskatoon, was in Weyburn. He's made his rounds around this league, and it's important for the growth of this place. And back to Matt Stairs for a second. He is always at the All-Star game, and he's always doing the presentation of the Home Run Derby trophy, or bat rather, to the champion. He's been there for all years doing that, so expect to see him up at the game tomorrow.
Yeah.
At the plate is Blake Dale. 3 runs would sure help the Mavericks here if he can go yard. Now that's wishful thinking, of course. And against a pitcher like Pichot, not likely.
Well, pitchers who throw lots of strikes, which Pichot does, they give up home runs because they're always around the strike zone.
Swing and a miss there as that one tied Dale up right around his body. 0-2 count, and a couple of bird scooters making their round in the background right now. Might as well flip over and show you with those bright blue lights.
Oh, yeah.
That can't be distracting at all.
Well, the good thing is they're not bright lights shining in on the hitter's eyes like that one night.
Dale will foul that off the toe of his bat. Yeah, the one night somebody was out there shining a flashlight. I'm not sure if they were trying to cause a disturbance or just being dumb. I'm not sure, but that was a thing that happened. Remember, laser pointers back in the day were a big thing. People bringing those into hockey arenas and distracting many players. And that has since calmed down, which is good to see. But that was a huge craze back in the day. Pichot goes off speed, and it had his catcher diving out to the side. Derringer putting in the work. 1-2 count here to Blake Dale. Pichot into the glove. Here comes the pitch. Dale doesn't go for it. Another off-speed pitch down low. And I just want to make this aware. So you can hear that sound out there that sounds like a boo coming from our in-house announcer, Nick, who does all the promos and all the fun stuff that you could see at this game. He is not booing. He is saying twos. We can't hear that because we're in a box upstairs, but I do want to make sure for anybody listening that thinks that a worker for the Mavs is booing opposing players, he is saying twos. Weird way to go about it, but that is what he's doing.
Well, Blake Dale's worked back from an 0-2 count to make it a full count. Dvorak will be off with the pitch. Gurney, now at first base, isn't holding him on.
Runner going to go, and that does it for Blake Dale. A long drawn-on call from Ron Shuchuk behind the plate, and Carter Roth can't believe it. And Ryan Reed can't believe it either. I think he has a word down there from third.
Yeah, he's getting into it with home plate
Shuchuk wasn't paying
umpire
attention,
Shuchuk.
but Reed's still going at him, and he's going to chuck Reed out of the game, and Reed might get his money's worth here. And Reed is furious. Back-to-back nights in matchups with these two, we have seen a coach be ejected, and this time it's on the Mavericks side. It is Ryan Reed who comes into the infield, and now two umpires down there. And JT's going to come out as well and maybe be a peaceful voice within this conversation. And Reed gets a mouthful in before he exits the game, and that frustration boiling over, I'm sure, dating all the way back to that call over at first base, as Reed will now head to the locker room and JT will head back to the dugout, and we will head back to the action soon here from Athletic Park as the Miller Express lead by 5. Top of the ninth inning, Jensen Cockrell on the mound for the Mavericks. First offering from him tonight is a strike. And it has become a much different game here. A game that was tight for most of the way, but pulling ahead thanks to William Edwards and company are the Miller Express. And Edwards, without him and Rivas, it's a completely different night. Those have been the two that have put the black and gold over the top.
Yeah, when you get those home runs, a 2-run home run and a 3-run home run, and then you look at the hits, they're 15-14, but those 5 runs are the difference in the game.
Pitch misses from Cockrell.
And you add in Rivas's home run, that was a 2-run shot. There's 7 runs on 3 hits.
Strike 3 called from Cockrell. I think there's some boos in the crowd from the home fans. And it goes on their side there. I don't think you ever hear that, unless it's full of Moose Jaw fans at this point, but there's still quite a few bodies out here.
Well, the attendance tonight is 1,560, I believe. So a good crowd tonight. 50-50 was $1,780, which I didn't win.
Yeah, I was going to say $1,780 that don't belong to Wayne Slosher. That pitch didn't belong to Robert Estrada either. Here's a grounder into the glove of Blake Dale. He zips it over to first and makes no doubt about that one. Didn't get the call in the last time he did that, but he no doubter that one. Tanner DeGrazia from Pomona College, the junior, steps in to face Cockrell. 2 quick outs from Jensen Cockrell here.
Yeah.
You look back at it, maybe would have liked that in the other innings. I mean, Barrientos and Centella very trusted, and they both had off nights. But with the way that Cockrell's maneuvering here, he's probably thinking, you know what, I could have been out there for the last 2.
Well, we talked off air that I didn't think that Centillo and Barrientos pitched that badly. There were some unfortunate plays that happened. We got the ground balls. We just didn't make the plays.
Cockrell gets a large swing and a miss from DeGrazia, but as DeGrazia has proved in the past, he does not make strike 3 easy. I can't figure out what this heckler is saying. Farmer is all I can make out of it. And speak of it, mowing down Tanner DeGrazia there is Jensen Cockrell for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning. Nice to see one of those come around the corner for the Mavericks. Jensen gets it done, and in a 5-run game, it might be a little too late, but he does keep them around for one more. And before we let you go, we got to do our Communities University segment, and it is Valley City State today, located in Valley City, North Dakota. 1,754 students enrolled. It has 12 undercollegiate varsity sports, which include baseball, and many of the people on that team, coaches and players both, were a part of the Vikings squad this year, listed as the most beautiful campus in North Dakota. Now, as a North Dakota Fighting Hawks fan, I will say I disagree. I've never been to the campus personally, but I know how beautiful the hockey rink is, and I think that makes up for all of it. So there's my bias coming into play. And it has a footbridge that leads from the University of Valley City, or the University to Valley City, that was built back in the day and still exists today. A picture of that in the top right-hand corner of your screen, along with McFarland Hall. So that's a couple of quick notes about Valley City State. JT, of course, coached there, and Jaden Babiak, Jamel Chabot, and Andrew Kim, all members of their baseball team this past collegiate season. Throw down to second here from Derringer, and it'll bring up one of those members in Jamel Chabot. Miller Express 3 outs away from walking into the All-Star break with a smile on their faces. And maybe a little bit of tension tomorrow when the Miller Express become teammates with many of the Mavericks. There might be more tension between them and the Regina Red Sox, who have gotten into their fair share of scuffles so far this year. Pichot gets a foul aside there from Chabot. There's somebody standing in dead center field in a bright green shirt. I think there's only one person out there right now, but you can see them from a mile away. It looks like a light on your TV screen or tablet screen, wherever you're watching the game from at home.
Well, with Swift Current beating Weyburn tonight, Medicine Hat has officially clinched a playoff berth.
And that one flown out over into right field. So, yeah, the Mavericks going back to the playoffs.
Yeah.
We've seen that a lot within their history. They haven't missed the playoffs very often, especially during the Morrison regime, we'll call it. And this is something that fans get used to, they get up for. And if you're watching this broadcast and you want to be a part of a good atmosphere, I would advise you come out to a playoff game here. It is as good as it gets, and these players put it all on the line for a city that at the start of the year they might not have even have known existed.
There's definitely a different atmosphere in the stadium when it's playoffs. The fans are into every pitch, the players are into every play, and it's an exciting time.
This one is sent down into foul territory, and we have a couple final scores for you so far tonight around the rest of the WCBL, so we should check in on those. Wayne already gave you the one final score. Of course, that was over in Regina as the Okotoks Dogs victorious 7-3. The Swift Current 57s get the job done against the Weyburn Beavers 2-1. 5-3 is the final from Lethbridge. The Bulls beating the Berries. A little bit of an upset. Is that a sign of things to come for the Berries? I don't expect so, but Lethbridge, who was on a little bit of a slide, they hike up their boots and they're right back at it. And the Fort Mac Giants play spoiler late in a game in Sylvan Lake. They come from behind to win 3-2 against the Gulls. And, of course, Energy City and Brooks postponed for tonight. So, this is the only game left on in the WCBL, and if you're just joining us, the Miller Express looking to close things out. They have a 12-7 lead as is. 2-2 the count here to Yusei Uzawa. One out already, and Uzawa hoping to make sure that is not two. Top of the order coming up here for the Medicine Hat Mavericks.
Well, with Lethbridge's win and Sylvan Lake's loss, that's going to only put them, I think, one game apart.
And you would be right. The Lethbridge Bulls, I believe, have a one-game lead now. Now, the interesting part about that is the Sylvan Lake Gulls have more wins. One more win, but one more loss because they played two more games. But the tiebreaker goes to the Bulls, and what a play by Ben Wallazek as he flies the bird over at second base.
Yeah, he robbed Uzawa, laid out flat, gathered his feet, and made a good throw.
The defense by Wallazek is phenomenal. We've seen him and Soto both have a couple of key plays so far tonight. Shuchuk will have a conversation with Pichot on the mound. He's pointing to himself. And it looks
There's
like
something going on here. Pichot.
I think they might be talking about Wallazek with the celebration over at second base. Because I was looking at Aaron Volcano down below, and he was doing the signal as if to tell Jeremy Freeman Jr. that's what this was about. And judging by the body language of Wallazek and maybe the disbelief, I think that is what it was in regard to. Pichot is super confused because I think that maybe they have it pinned on him at the moment, but he didn't do anything wrong from what I saw.
Well, everybody's looking at second base now, and Soto was at short, and so was the third baseman. They were looking at Wallachek.
Yeah, and Soto was talking to him after the fact. And Soto's still having a conversation with him. They're going back and forth. I'm not sure if it's an angry conversation or if it's just playfully joking about it. Strike to Freeman. But that is the celebration that the Mavericks have been doing all night once they get on base with an extra base hit is that bird celebration. Obviously in honor of their baby sprays era that they've ushered in, as Freeman will put this one aside.
Was that what Wallachek
And that's what
was doing?
Walsek did back the other way.
Yeah, that's kind of childish. You know, cheer for your own team and do your own thing. Forget about what the other team is doing. Wallachek should know better.
He is just a kid, Wayne. I can say that as a former kid.
Well, karma's a nasty thing sometimes.
Mavs down to their final out here. Pichot looking to tap on the final strike. Here comes the pitch. Freeman's going to keep it alive a little bit longer as it goes into left field.
That's his 4th hit of the night. His batting average is going to jump.
4 for 4 is 44. Walking to grab the bat is Aaron Volcano. Volcano with a hard smack of home plate. As he waits on the offering from Pichot.
Yeah, Freeman won't be going anywhere. We need base runners.
Ooh, this one is tattooed. Still might be playable in center. And the play is made. What a play from Pacey Phillips as everybody's doing the bird dance on the Miller Express side. And they are hyped up. What a way to close out a 12-7 victory for the Miller Express on the road.
Yeah, there's a little bit of bad blood starting to brew between these two teams.
A little bit, Wayne?
Yeah, it's there's still 2 more games to go, and you know, you start rubbing it into the other team's face about what they're trying to represent and having fun with, and pretty soon the other team gets upset.
And we want to welcome you into Mavs postgame here from Athletic Park. There hasn't been a lot of losses that we've had to talk about in the postgame, but this, one of them, and one that you feel like might have gotten away from the Mavs. They had lots of chances, but they also didn't get a lot of the bounces today, and I think that may be the biggest factor. And when they've played the Moose Jaw Miller Express in the past, it feels like this is a theme that follows along, are those tiny plays, and you don't want to pin it on just one, but there were lots of things that didn't go there on their side, at least in this evening's match.
Yeah, when I'm looking at our hitters, our 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters tonight, we only got 3 hits out of them, and we need more out of that part of the batting order. So, you know, you're not pinning anything on them, but, you know, Freeman had 4 hits, Dvorak had 3 hits, Chabot had 2 hits. So it was the unsuspecting players that were really doing the hitting for us tonight. And with Moose Jaw, it was outside of Gurney, their whole team had hits up and down the order. The middle of our batting order didn't have a very good night tonight, I thought. So, you know, that's baseball. Both teams had 15 hits. They just had 12 runs out of their 15 hits. We talked about it. 7 of those runs came off 3 home runs, and when you can hit the home runs like they have, that can put you ahead or get you caught up very quickly. The Mavs never led in this game. We were able to tie it up and then get close, and then Moose Jaw would score again, but we never did take the lead in this game. We tied it up once, and we got within 1 run there when it was 8-7, but you know, after that, we weren't really close to them throughout the game. It was a fun game to watch, but Moose Jaw just kept putting it on, adding runs, and whenever we got close, Moose Jaw just again scored. So kudos to them.
And I want to ask about 2 players specifically on Moose Jaw. William Edwards, I want to know what you thought of him tonight, and I want to know what you thought of Pichot in the last 2 innings as a stud closer.
Well, Edwards had a great night. I mean, 2 home runs. He had 6 RBIs. 6 RBIs. So he was a one-man wrecking crew himself tonight. You take his 6 runs off the board, and the Mavs win 7-6. But you can't do that. So kudos to him. He's an outstanding young player. He's one of those guys that's low key all the time. He doesn't get high, doesn't get low, just comes out and plays hard. And Pichot, he showed why he's one of those elite young pitchers in this league, coming in and really shutting the Mavs down. The last 2 innings, we didn't get anything.
Yeah, and then that is one of the biggest differences. I want to ask about the rivalry between these two, why it's good for the league to have these little rivalries, especially between these two, and maybe what this means for the rest of the way, because they will see each other again this season, and they could see each other in the postseason like they have in the past.
Well, it's always good having these rivalries, and we've had this rivalry with Moose Jaw for several years, and it's a healthy rivalry. We get to play each other lots. Maybe it's starting to fester a little bit because we've been playing so often against each other. Like we mentioned, 3 games in a row and 5 out of the last 8. And you can see there's some there's beaking going on between the teams now, and you can see they're starting to rub each other the wrong way, and you just hope it doesn't get carried away.
Yeah, definitely you don't want that. I know Wayne is packing up his stuff, but I do have one more thing that I feel like we always touch on. What does the next game look like for the Mavericks, whether it's on the road or at home or who they're facing? But tomorrow's game is a special one. It's the All-Star game. Take me through, for people that or other people through, for who maybe aren't aware of how it works, what is so exciting about it, what they can expect, and what they're going to get when they tune in.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you, Truman. You've been seconded to do the play-by-play of that game, and for somebody that's only been in this league for 3 years, it's hats off to you. You've done a tremendous job on broadcasting, and it's a feather in your cap to be going to that All-Star game as the All-Star broadcaster of that game. I think it's a great time for players to go there. They get recognized. There's a great atmosphere. There's 5,000 to 6,000 fans. It's an exciting time. There's something, I believe it starts at 2 in the afternoon, and there's stuff going on all day, the home run hitting contest, then it's the game itself. And the one thing about baseball is that it's mano a mano, pitcher against hitter, and nobody wants to give in. The pitchers aren't going to say, here it is, throw it. They want to get the hitter out. They want to have the strikeout. They want to look good for their division. And the hitter wants to get a hit. So there's no way you can ease up like you can in the NBA or the NHL. This is, it's man against man. And baseball has always been competitive that way. It'll be a fantastic atmosphere. Truman, you're going to love it.
Yeah, we look forward to that inning. I hope that you listening look forward to that inning. And Wayne, thank you for the kind words. This doesn't happen without people like yourself. We are a duo, and it doesn't happen without the players, obviously, on the field, and the fans, you listening, for the support all season long for this league, and you know how beautiful it is. So excited to be up there for the festivities tomorrow, and excited to bring it to you along with the rest of the great people who make this league what it is. But until then, that does it for this one, and we cannot wait to see what the next one brings. Take care, everyone, and have a safe ride home.